Boxing fans, good afternoon. It's J Street Sports. J Street here. We're going live tonight, man. We want to talk about a few things been going on in the boxing world. We're going to talk about Josh Taylor relinquishing 3 of the belts, how that could be a smart move for him. It is a smart move for him personally. Also, we're going to talk about um, pretty sure we're going to talk about some Anthony Joshua. We're going to talk about some Andy Ruiz, big fight with him and Luis Ortiz, and what that fight means. Both guys are slowing up, so it probably make for a real exciting slugfest. So we're also going to talk some Deontay Wilder, his fight coming up October 15th. Robert Helenas. We're going to talk about that since he's been putting out some more videos. We're gonna see how that goes. Um, we're gonna talk about everything, man. Nothing's off limits tonight. As we jump in, man, and just see what's going on, man. Cause a lot, you know. Let's do it. Okay. Let me get D Hive in here. D Hive, I forgot, man. I've been sending out the link, but I gotta send it out to you. It's gonna be right here, so you can jump right on. Let's see. Yeah. And also, everyone out there in the YouTube world, uh, hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel, Extreme Willpower. It's in there. We definitely gonna talk about Devin Haney relinquishing the Ring Magazine belt. Kudos to Devin Haney. I have been, I have said things against Devin Haney. Nothing, never personal, like his boxing. Probably more so towards Bill, but man, great move. Great move. I think more boxers need to do it. But a lot of times boxers are afraid to come forth and really stand up against these people because the power used to be the power of the pen. Now it's the power of the keyboard, prevents a lot of people from really talking and being as forthcoming as they really want to be. So we're gonna definitely dive right into that. I'm gonna let a couple people come on. Whoever want to come on, and then we'll talk it. And if more people come on, we'll just regurgitate it all over again because that's real important. We're gonna talk about the Ring magazine, just the old Ring magazine compared to the new Ring magazine. I heard Dante from Dante Boxing Nation talking about KO magazine and Ring magazine because if you old enough, those were the two where you get all your info. Well, not really all your information, but they would do all the interviews, all the things that we do today on a daily basis. We used to have to wait until one of those publications come out and give us that information. Where now it's just we can just get it anywhere. Back then we had to wait, but so honestly, they never held weight with me as far as they pound for pound list and just all those different things. I personally don't have anything against Dougie Fisher. More so, I remember Dougie Fisher from Max Boxing years ago. Him and Steve Kim. Now Steve Kim a different story, but Dougie Fisher don't really have a issue with him. Might disagree with his rankings, disagree with all that, but he's a track guy. You know what I'm saying? He's into track and field just as much as boxing. To me, I think he's better at track and field than he is in boxing. But yeah, he's like one of the editors now for Ring Magazine that's owned by Oscar De La Hoya. So if you think it's not going to be any type of bias if a promoter runs a boxing publication, it ain't going to be no love out there. That guy is not going to be out there to give love to anyone else besides himself. But if you want to come on in, come right on in. Join. If you want to join. I'm ready. Come right on up. But yeah, so we're gonna definitely jump in on the Devin Haney situation because that's real important. You know, being honest, that's very important. That's something that this really could change the way that a lot of people, a lot of fighters do with boxing and view boxing and publications and things like that. This could be a game changer because it could set off a chain reaction where a lot of people start giving up the Ring magazine. I mean, I personally never knew why it held so much weight. Now, and that ain't me trying to diss anybody. That's just being honest. It's a belt that is not necessarily one in the ring. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know how else to explain it. Let me get my brother Checkmate up here. Hey, what's up, Cozy? If you want to join, good brother, join. Come on in. You and D Hive, y'all come on in. Checkmate, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on, my brother? I
Hey,
I was
yes,
at the
sir.
last slide. I was here like I was, back there. I came in the same time Nike came, and I was here for like a half hour. You
Well,
never
you know what
bring me on.
happened. What happened, good brother, is that I'm on the stream yard that gets like 4 people. All right. So what happens is if it's already 4 or 5 people up here, it won't let me join. And I don't even see the person waiting. That's what happened. So we had like 7 or 8 people trying to get in last week. I just have to upgrade so I could get at least six or more people on. That's what's
No
that's what's
problem.
going on. I apologize about that, man.
All right.
You know that ain't done intentionally, good brother.
What's going on, Cozy?
Yeah. Hey, so we're gonna touch tonight on the Devin Haney situation. I know you already on top of it. We got to really talk about that because, like I was just saying, man, this thing could really change the way that people look at boxing. It could really change the way that things are done if people say that if publications are gonna be biased, fighters can just say, "Hey, don't I ain't a part of what y'all got going on." I think so. I think that's a big move and a very smart move as well. What you think, Jack?
Oh, absolutely. As you saw, again, my little interaction with Tom Gray, and I called him a culture vulture.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen a
He
video.
blocked he blocked you or muted you and did the
Yeah,
same to me.
yeah, so all I did was post two of his articles about the WBA belt. One for Canelo, how he's saying it was, he's going to be his third weight class from winning this belt, and then on the same belt, he's going to tell Tank that, hey, this is not a real belt. This, it's he's not a three-weight champion. This is the death of the authentic belts. And so all I did was post that. He's going to say you're going to mute, so you can't stand up to your own, your own articles. And the other guy who was fighting Wood. So Wood is fighting for it. So they're going to call Wood a champion, but they don't want to call Tank a champion. Now, I've been calling them culture vultures and things of that nature for years. If you look at their posts, they post Black American fighters constantly. Right,
Right.
the
Right.
greats, Muhammad, all of them, Sugar Ray,
Right.
because
Absolutely.
they want to. That's the definition of a culture vulture. You want to draw people in, talk about the greats, but then you want to ignore and disrespect the elite Black American fighters of the day. I think every single Black American fighter should drop the ring belt and do never ever acknowledge it again, because you guys are giving them power. I don't read that. I stopped reading once I came to Twitter. Before Twitter, I
Mhm.
had no idea they would like this. Once I came to Twitter,
Mhm.
I'm like, wow. And then with these pound for pound lists, you can see it's racially biased. So therefore, if you're going to be racially biased, just take me out of it. So what Devin is doing, I applaud. But guess what? It has to go beyond Devin. Jamel Charlo has to do it.
Mhm.
Every single Black American fighter should never acknowledge the ring belt ever again. Wilder said he wasn't going to take it had he won, so he had already, said he wasn't going to take it. So I support Devin Haney in this, and I think the boxing community, especially the Black American boxing community, definitely need to stand for this, because you can't keep doing this. This is so disrespectful to have Loma, who lost, to have him on pound for pound, and then you're not even going to have Haney, and then when you do put him, Loma's in front of him. I
Facts,
think
man.
it's so disrespectful. It's the Ring and ESPN. But
I
understand,
agree.
I'm gonna use your term. I never use this, but I'm gonna use your term. Race soldiers. They're
The race
basically
soldier.
saying
Right.
they're basically trying to eliminate. They're trying to pretend these elite fighters aren't there. So when they finally beat their fighters, and knock them out of the way, they still don't acknowledge them. This has got to come to an end.
Checkmate, you 100% right. And also, I'm gonna go a little further. I think the fans got to do what we doing too, especially the fans of Black American fighters. They have to go and when they see these race soldiers come up, or these culture vultures, we have to put up. We have to stop supporting that stuff. It goes to, like, when you look at podcasts, right? There are podcasts out here that are ran by non-Black Americans, right? That only feature Black Americans, and they make millions off of us. Only we're the only ones coming in. It's just like BET now. They used to be owned by Black owned with Robert Johnson. A lot of people don't even know that. They was young. Okay, Robert, then his wife took over when they divorced. Then they sold it to Viacom. So we be supporting these things that we don't have any platform on it. We don't have any influence on it. All they use us as is the talent. That's it. They use us as the talent. They come in boxing. They use the Black American fighters. Devin Haney. They talk about him all the time. They talk about Jamel and Jamal Charlo. No matter what they talking about him, even if they're hating on them, they using their name, because you can't. A Canelo name is only his name because it's attached to Charlo. It's attached to Boo Boo Andre. You see, they attach it to everything. And Shakur Stevenson. I mean, Tank Davis. I mean, they talk about Tank Davis probably more than anybody. So it just goes to show, man, that we as the fans got to say, nope, you're not going to do that. We're not supporting. We're not going to watch. We're going to mute you, and we're going to block you on Twitter so that you don't have no platform. That's why I sent out a tweet today. I don't know if you read it, but I sent a tweet out, and the tweet was basically in reference to, why do people call themselves FBAs, right? But yet they are still communicating with these race soldiers. Man, let's just discommunicate with them. You get what I'm saying? It'll make things better for the next generation. But go ahead, brother.
No, I mean, again, this is I was I told Theo Hemiso and I told Jake Donovan that I was starting my YouTube page in 2020, and I said that I
Right.
was going to start, so I was going to combat the you know all the different news outlets. I was going to give them either, you know pass them, yay or nay, whatever. I was going to highlight the ones who were with these egregious statements and propaganda and so forth. And Theo said, he was like, hey, just make sure you treat me right. So I was going to do that in 2020. I haven't done it yet, but what just happened, and especially with Dougie Fish's response to Devin, talk about mail it back, this makes me even more motivated to be that watchdog and definitely highlight this trash that's going on. It's I mean it's so blatant. It's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. It is so blatant. It's so obvious. When you have all these elite fighters out there doing their thing, pound for pound, close to it, number ones in their division and everything else, but they get no play, they get no shine. And it's all
Mm-hmm.
and this is the thing. The truth is, guess what? It's a subjective list. They can post whatever they want. The problem is these lists affect judging, they affect the referees, they affect the purses, they affect sponsorships, and they affect gullible fans' opinions. You know what I mean? So if you got a person that's number one pound for pound, guess what the ref going to do? If that person's on the verge of being knocked out, you're going to give him a couple of
They're
extra
gonna
seconds.
you're gonna give him a long count.
You're going to give him a long count because,
Hmm.
oh well, he's the money train, he's the guy, we can't let him lose. You know what I mean? Just like they
And
did
and
Fury,
and,
whatever
and
the
let
case
me
may be.
let me read this real fast coming from Cozy. Cozy said, "We are addicted to our oppressors." I don't want to get too deep, but these problems have been going on since W.E. Du Bois and Frederick Douglass when they were talking about assimilation. And I'll say this, and I add on to that. Um, I think D Hive has said this, and it's true. If you see people on Twitter or just in life, on our job, whatever, it's easier to just go along with your oppressor because it makes life easier for you and you don't have to subject yourself, or you think you're not going to be subjected to what everyone else get. You know what I'm saying? The type of treatment everyone else get. So that's why we see on Twitter people ride along with these soldiers, and you see a guy like, and let me say this, Dougie Fisher is not a guy that's incompetent about boxing. He's not an incompetent guy about boxing. And I go back over 20 years of seeing, reading his when he was doing articles for Max Boxing and everything. The guy's not competent, but what he is though is I think that he played along. All right, I'll do that, D Hive. I'm about to send it to you. I'm a DM it to you. All right. But
Well,
yeah, so that's how I look at that, man. And appreciate that, Cozy. Say you hit it on the head like Samuel Jackson character in Django. Yeah, man. It's easier for people to play along and do the game, man. You
yeah,
know, they play the game, and that's what be going on. That like literally these people get up here, man, and they play a game every day. They and we see it all the time. Checkmate on Twitter. People will go along with some old crazy stuff. Like for 1 second, Terrence Crawford could be, they could be saying that Terrence Crawford is the greatest fighter ever, but as soon as Bob Arum do something, they don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? But then if Al Heyman in the negotiation not going correctly, they'll sit there and they say, well, you know what? It's Al Heyman's fault. You know what I'm saying? Even though Terrence Crawford sued Bob Arum, they say nothing. But and something they don't know about, they blame the black guy. It's the craziest thing in the world, man. But I see it, and it's crazy. Cozy said one of his professors used to call him the go along to get along gang. Absolutely, absolutely. But go ahead, though. Check.
yeah. What you said again with Dougie Fisher. This is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's given talking points to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
to disseminate. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what a lot of things that his opinions, they aren't necessarily his opinions. They are the people who pays
Right.
his bills opinions. Okay,
Absolutely.
so he's a robot. He again, they can put him anywhere. He's just going to do what he's told to do, just like
Right.
but this is the reason why it must be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Arum, if you look at it, especially on either those pound for pound lists, you're gonna see majority of top ranked fighters, regardless whether it's ESPN or the Ring. You're gonna see them basically highlighted on those lists. Even if they're undeserving, they're going to be highlighted on those lists. And that's unfortunate. But like I said, what Devin Haney has done, this should start the fire. This should start the conversation. There needs to be some cohesiveness amongst fighters, period. You know
And
what I
and
mean? And it
yeah,
shouldn't be
go
just
ahead.
black fighters. I
That's
think
right.
if even if you're a non-black fighter and you see the what's going on here, drop this ring belt, take the power away from them. Let PBC make a magazine. Let PBC put out something. Let them put out a belt, something that we can go ahead and say, okay, well, they can still have fighters from other organizations, but let's see if it can be run more fairly than this. Because to have them be the voice, you don't dress like Dougie dress. You don't like what Dougie like. You don't, do the things he do. You don't collect the comic books and go with Comic Con like he do. Why should
Absolutely
you
not.
take his opinion on
Right.
these particular fighters?
Hey, how you doing, D Hive? Thanks for joining me, brother.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm well. How are you all?
Hey, doing
All right,
good,
brother.
man. We just up here. We shooting on that thing that happened today with Devin Haney. Also, or last night. Also, let me say what Extreme Willpower just said. He said Fury got an extended deadline to drop the belt. I don't think a certain group will be given this treatment. You know, that's crazy, and that's a great point. When you come out publicly and write letters to the WBC and do a phone call with Ring Magazine and say, "Hey, I'm retired. That's it." And you still give a deadline. That's just like if I call my job today and say, "Hey guys, I quit." It was nice, but I'm not working anymore. And then Wednesday they call me next week and be like, "Hey, Julius, you coming to work?" Like, come on, man, I just quit. Now I ain't coming back. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll come back if I want to come back. And it's crazy, man. But go ahead, D Hive. Hopefully you've been hearing what we've been saying. What you think on this whole situation with Devin Haney?
Yeah, I've been listening. Now, look, if you don't think if you have a situation where you don't think Devin Haney should be a pound for pound fighter because he's only fought in one division, that's fine. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that without you can say that while simultaneously understanding that the list that they put out is trash. And I'm not like, we can take Devin Haney out the picture and just look at the list that they even had. The fact that Lomachenko is still on the list, the fact that Bivol made the list off of a Canelo win, which that's kind of ridiculous in and of itself. Artur Beterbiev is not even undisputed, and he's only fought in one division his entire life, and is coming down from being a heavyweight amateur, and he's on the list. And so it's just, even if you take Devin Haney out of the picture, it's still a stupid list. It's still a ridiculous list, and it's not even in keeping with the traditional standards of what pound for pound list is. Like, you got people talking about belts are meaningless when it comes to people like Charlo, but then all of a sudden belts mean something when you look at Inoue's resume, because he haven't really fought nobody but Donaire. And keep in mind, people forget,
40
Nicholas
years
Walters.
old.
Yeah, Nicholas Walters clipped Donaire and knocked him out in the first half in one fight. It took Naoya Inoue 2 fights to do that.
Very violent beat down too. That
Yeah, a
action.
younger version of Donaire too.
Yeah, exactly. That
So
was on a roll. That was on
yeah,
a roll. People forget that. And
yeah,
actually, the two, they were black fighters, not FBAs, that he did fight, gave him the most severe beatings he's had as a pro up until right now. Guillermo Rigondeaux beat the best version of Nonito Donaire and beat him with no problem. Nicholas Walters trashed him, a good version of Nonito Donaire. Like I say, he got trashed by the two black non-FBA fighters that he fought, gave him the worst beatings of his career, and neither one of those guys got ranked off that. Now let me give the ring rankings. They have Usyk number 1, Inoue 2, Bud Crawford 3, Spence 4, Canelo at 5, Lomachenko at 6, and they got weeks on the list. He been on the list longer than everybody except Bud Crawford. This man,
really though.
Lomachenko, been on the list 323 weeks. Man haven't fought in 11 months and lost to two average fighters, below average and average. Bivol, 16 weeks, ranked 7. Josh Taylor, based upon what? One win, one good win,
He
and
was
I don't,
undisputed
and we
at
don't
one
even
point.
know a disputed, and we don't even know how good that win is. Josh Taylor is rated 8, above Jamel Charlo, who just got on the list 15 weeks ago.
And
That's
who is
undisputed.
actively defending undisputed. He hasn't dropped a
Absolutely.
single belt and will be fighting Tim Tszyu
And,
in January.
right. And now Better Beef is 10. Now, let's just look at just the list. And let's be honest. Better Beef only has 18 fights. All right. And he should be the only Eastern European on this list. If we go off of, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand why they would want Usyk, but Usyk would be more 9-10ish for me. They got him the number one pound for pound. Beat a bunch of Eastern European guys no one had heard of. And beat
And
an
Michael Hunter.
overrated heavyweight, and we calling him an all-time great. Now, this is crazy.
And he
Y'all
beat
can go ahead
Bellew.
and shoot on it.
And he beat
this the
Bellew, apparently.
This
Yeah.
is the crazy thing with the Usyk thing, right? Joshua wasn't the best heavyweight. He'd already been lost and he already been knocked out and destroyed
By
you know,
average heavyweight.
by Andy Ruiz. They never
Right.
put Andy Ruiz on a pound for pound list for doing something that Usyk couldn't. And in both fights, Joshua gave Usyk in both eyes the raccoon eyes. Let me tell, and I told you guys, I said, okay, I'm glad Usyk won. I actually picked him to win, but I was not impressed with that performance. He had a lot of wasted movement and a lot of, powerless arm punches. You know what I mean? And so my whole thing is you making this guy number one off of what? First of all, you guys originally said heavyweights couldn't be on there. That's why you didn't want Deontay Wilder on there. That's why, and XYZ. So all of a sudden, Usyk, he's not better. He's not a better fighter than Tank. He's not a better fighter than, than Spence. He's good for what he's doing. He's not a bad fighter, but he's going to be proven not to be the best, because guess what? I guarantee you Wilder will KO him. Are you going to make Wilder number one pound for pound if Wilder KO him?
I just want to ask this though, Checkmate. I want y'all to address this point. What fights? Anyone in the comments can comment on it as well. What I understand what you're saying about Usyk, but I would still think about Usyk. How did Loma get there though?
Oh man, Loma must be back there. I'm gonna keep it real. Loma must be back there giving up top to the bosses, because I really don't. Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, with all due respect, Loma will have to literally die for him to get off of this list, and even then, they might just create an in memoriam slot that he will permanently occupy. I don't understand. How many times does Lomachenko have to lose? Like, I was like, bro, like, that's what I was saying. The moment his feet touched the ground, I was just like, man, Tank, get rid of this dude. Like, it's gonna have to take Tank turning Lomachenko into Gerald McClellan for them to finally calm down and understand that this dude is not that. He lost
Shout
to somebody.
out to Gerald McClellan too.
Right, that's no offense.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, but he lost to someone who was thoroughly washed. I'm talking like Gabe Rosado levels of wash. Dude had 12 losses.
Absolutely.
I don't care how much championship experience he had. The dude was beyond washed.
And let me say this. I hear people talking, but here's the thing. Salido was a decent fighter in his prime. All he was a tough guy. People forget, didn't Mikey Garcia knock him down 5 times? The fight after, I mean, come on, man.
Salido wasn't nothing but Burchelt level. That's it.
Yeah, just a little better than Burchett, but not that much.
Right. He wasn't nothing special.
Bottom line, Salido had 12 losses when he
12.
beat Loma. That's it.
Had lost,
and he was a cab driver at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't even training consistently. He was driving for Uber.
And he has 14 losses and 4 draws. But you built Loma's stock after this. Yeah. Come on, then you try to erase it like it never happened.
And listen now, I told y'all guys that Salido was a good pro early in his career. He had some of his best opponents over a decade before he fought Lomachenko. He fought Lomachenko, y'all, and let's see the year
20.
2014.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He fought Robert Guerrero, the Ghost, in 2006 and beat the Ghost, but tested positive for steroids a full 10 years before. And you mean to tell me a pound for pound guy is going to fight to it, a little guy who best wins and fights was a decade before?
Also,
Come on, man.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Prior to losing to Lomachenko by majority decision, how much respect was Gary Russell Jr. getting out in these streets for being champion? How much respect was he getting?
Absolutely none, because at the time, Gary Russell was just a guy that was on his way up, that caught that his claim to fame at that moment was that he was a great amateur that passed out before he could become before he could fight in the Olympics. So he never actually fought in the Olympics. He passed out on the scale. That was all Gary was known for at the moment. Now he could fight, but that's what he was known for. That's my man Steph coming in. Steph, how you doing? Steph, how you doing, man?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. Who's that?
All right.
Checkmate. D-Hub. Gentlemen, happy weekend.
What's going on, Steph?
What's up, man?
Hey, Steph.
Yeah,
I
yes,
saw
sir.
that every time I see the Choco video, I swear. You know what
What
Choco is?
Yes,
The guy with the mustache and the hat, and he do the little thrust.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
know, man. I get a lot of that. You know,
You look just like him, man.
I know,
Mustache.
man. I know. You know, yeah, it's about 50-50 mixed reviews. I get people who like it. I get people who don't like it. But it's probably around this time last year that I started growing. I usually rep a beard, and then if I don't do that, I'll do just kind of a shadow of a beard because my hair just grows so fast.
Right.
I gotta be frank with you, man. I've been stressing so hard. I'm going gray now, like all over. And that's fine. But I always mention this, man. You know, I'm from Texas, so I'm really into Cowboys. So yeah, I kind of like the Cowboy-esque kind of Kurt Russell mustache from Tombstone, a little bit.
Yeah, I remember
You
that.
gotta wear the cowboy hat, man. You gotta.
Oh yeah,
You gotta rip the
I got plenty of
cowboy hat,
Stetsons.
brother.
I got plenty of Stetsons around here. Don't you worry, they're around here. In fact, I got a rodeo. Shoot, I think that's at the end of my birthday month. I'll be taking a friend and his wife with me. And we're gonna go mess around. But what was that? And that's another thing. This is the first time I've ever done it, so I'm kind of just going with it. And then again, I weld, so everyone who I work with has a mustache, man.
Okay.
So it'd be kind of weird if I didn't have a mustache. So I was like, all right, I'll rep this.
All right. Well, look, man, let me tell you what we've been talking about. We've been talking about Devin Haney, man. Relinquishing the Ring Magazine belt, telling them that they can just go and shove it, and that they're biased, and they got a fighter that has been inactive for a year and got 2 losses to average guys. What's up, Midwest? How you doing? Give thanks to the honorable Bob Ham and the superb Top Rank. Absolutely. We'll talk about great matchmaking. And they have made him look like a monster. But again, so that's what we're talking about. And they want Cozy want to know from you, and I've asked the other guys, what was the reason for putting Loma on the list, or him being on the list for 323 weeks on the Ring Magazine pound for pound list? But other than that, I mean, what's your take on Devin Haney telling Ring Magazine, I'm vacating y'all belt. Y'all can have it. It means nothing.
Oh man, at first glance, I guess nothing, man. I think I did hear about something about this late last night.
Right, that's when it came out.
And then maybe not even earlier today. I've been side note again, man. I've been dealing with food poisoning, man. So it's kind of been an interesting back half of the week. But
Are you better now,
you know,
brother?
it is. I'm getting there. I'm feeling better, but the vital organs are still killing me, man. I'm like, ugh.
Gotcha.
You know that what's that meme with Denzel? He's like, oh.
Oh yeah.
That's me right now, man.
Yeah,
Every five
yeah,
seconds.
definitely.
But
All right.
I mean, I guess my thinking, I'm thinking like maybe he vacated because he plans to move up soon. I don't know. And then my second thought would be, man, the ring has gotten it wrong so many times. To now, you're getting fighters vacating their belt. My friends, the casual friend, like, look, man, that's the bragging rights belt. Like you're kind of everyone, all consensus votes you number one. That's why they hand that belt.
All right. Did go ahead, D Hive, with what you was thinking too, brother.
No, I mean I was pretty much done. I don't really, I've never really cared about the lineal title or anything like that. It's all just
Yeah.
ceremonial, especially because you
Yeah.
can still be lineal somehow magically, like after taking L's. Like if you move up in weight and then you lose horribly, you're still lineal in another division. Like I've never cared about all that nonsense. That's
Right.
all a
That's
bunch of
crazy.
garbage. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never really cared. And you know, Ring Magazine is owned by Oscar De La Hoya, and God knows he can't be trusted. So I mean,
No.
there's no real point. It's just stop endorsing them. They'll lose integrity, and hopefully they'll just shut up and go away. And also a little bit of breaking news. Jana Beck has now been elevated to WBO full champion, so that should be interesting. We'll see what happens with that.
You know something? I'm gonna do something I normally don't do on things like that. I'm gonna applaud the WBO. Hey, Boo Boo Andre had every opportunity to take this fight or take some other meaningful fight. You know what I'm saying? In that division, because he could have tried to unify. He could have tried to do 100 different things. Yeah, Janabek is the email champ. I agree. He's the email champion. But just like in the Devin Haney situation, he was waiting there patiently, and the guy didn't want to make the fight against him. Now, do I think that Janabek is like Flip and is a flip? Absolutely. I think the first time that he get hit with a good right hand or a good left hook, I think he's gonna go down. I think he is a hype job. I think he's a average fighter that just got a funky style. That's it. But in this situation, Boo Boo Andre had every situation, every opportunity to make a fight. Because let's be honest, he hasn't fought anybody with a heartbeat since he went to Matchroom. What y'all thought? Go ahead, checkmate.
Well, Janet Beck, I actually like Janet Beck, but this is, that he's elevated. I think what he got, like 12 fights. This
Yeah,
is
he
the only
ain't got
thing.
many fights, if
This
that.
my this is my problem though. Like it seems like it's like this Eastern European rite of passage to get early championship situations, wherein you have Boots who has 28 fights, never had the opportunity. You got Gary
Checkmate,
Antoine
could I
Russell.
stop you?
Yes,
Hold on,
sir.
I'm gonna stop you
Yes,
for
sir.
1 second,
Go
and
ahead.
then I'm gonna let you land your plane. I want to add this part that it's not just Eastern Europeans in boxing, but also in basketball. And I have to say it before you finish. Because if you look at the NBA draft, who watched the NBA draft? I know you do, Check. Look at how many Eastern Europeans get drafted in the first round, and they call it potential. And the guy might have averaged 4 points a game over in Europe or in the European professional league. That's what they'll say. And they draft him at 18. And guys that went to college averaged 20 and 10 or led their team to national championships and this and that. Nothing. They don't even get drafted and get a G League look. So now you can go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, so when you look at this, and they're getting this special privilege. Think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when Canelo fought for the WBA 168 WBA, it was a vacant belt. He's fighting
Right.
for a vacant belt versus a sitting champion. Okay, well, at least he's fighting for it. At least they didn't just hand it to him, right? Even though I don't think any sitting champion should ever fight for a vacant belt. That cheapens the run. Period.
Mhm.
And who else? Loma did the same thing. Loma, a sitting champion, fought Luke Campbell for the WBC vacant belt. Okay, so and
Mhm.
then but at least again, I don't agree with sitting champions fighting for a vacant belt, but they're fighting for it. Jenna Beck is getting handed the belt. You know what I mean? And I just thought he should fall for it. To be honest with you, when Charlo was elevated, I wanted Charlo to fight someone, you know what I mean, to earn that belt. So it's just
Right.
not, I'm just not speaking on, I'm just across the board. So this man with 12 fights, he's champion. You got Boots, 28 fights. You got Gary Antoine Russell. You got even Rashidi Ellis. And I told y'all, Rashidi Ellis is a dog. Wait till y'all see this man. I'm telling you,
He
people
fast,
overlooking him.
ain't no
He is
doubt.
good. I mean, he's a sharp brother. But my point
Mhm.
is, this guy's, he's got like what 22 wins, whatever the case may be. Ignored. All of these black fighters are ignored. If you're Eastern European, you can almost assured you're going to get a championship run really quick. Devchenko, I like Devchenko. He's a dog. He was getting championship fights at 15, 13 wins, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So again, like Janabek, he's good, but I wish he would have fought someone else so he can say he earned it. Now that he got it, because I think he's a good fighter. I like him. I would love to see Janabek versus Charlo. Let's get this unification going. Let's not just hold this up. Eddie Hearn has been stopping unifications at the 160 forever. Now it's time to go ahead and get this going. Because after Janabek, when and if they fight and if they unify, now what happens if I think GGG is about to retire, whether win or lose, whatever the case may be. I
Mhm.
think he's going to retire because I know doesn't want to fight Charlo, and he's probably not going to fight Janabek either. So those belts
Yeah.
are going to be up for grab. So I think we're going to have some movement in the 160. So Janabek is fresh blood. I'm here for it.
D Hive, what you think about the comments that have been said about me and Checkmate in regards to Boo Boo Andre 160 run and what's going on about Janet Beck and all that?
Well, as the resident Andre defender, I'm gonna chill on what I think about his 160 run.
So you're gonna
However,
be quiet about it, huh?
right. However, you
Mhm.
know, it is accurate that I personally thought that Andre was just going to defend this dude. Was going to defend his belt against this dude because he still could have got the Zach Parker fight while retaining his 160 belt because that had already been previously arranged. So I figured, okay, Zach Parker fell through. We can clip Jenna Beck in the meantime, go back up to 168 and still get that Zach Parker smoke. It appears that that's no longer the situation. It is unfortunate, especially because this Jenna Beck dude got a lot of respect for clipping basically an Andre level opponent because
Mhm.
Dignam wasn't really no better than Quigley. They're like the same dude to me. Like I
Same
don't,
guy,
yeah. So
different
I
name.
don't, yeah. And it pissed me off because I'm thinking y'all talking about Janabek is certified from smoking this dude, but not only did Andre clip Quigley in 2 rounds as well. If he had did the same thing to Dignam, y'all would have said Andre was trash. So how does Janabek suddenly beat Andre based off of that? They both fighting the same people. So that kind of pisses me off. But yeah, no, I agree. If Charlo wants to, if Charlo, if they can make that unification, that would be dope.
D
But
Hive, look at the messages, the
yeah,
comments.
I see Cozy. God damn it, leave me alone. But
Um,
yeah, but no, if they can make that Charlo Janabek unification, I'm all for it. Also, if they want to make Mungia versus Janabek, because honestly, I think Mungia
Facts.
will do better against Janabek than people think. I think if Janabek can get in there and ice Mungia, then we could talk about maybe he's certified because Mungia throws a lot of punches. He has a very hard head, good chin, and he has a reasonably decent gas tank. I don't know how much southpaw experience he has, but I think he'll max Janabek out personally.
And let me say this. I've seen fighters like Janet Beck for a long time, man. Over 25, 30 years, I've seen guys that do that. The best way to fight guys like that is to just rough them up. to be real aggressive and just come forward on them guys because they're gonna burn a lot of energy with all that flapping and moving around and stuff like that. But go ahead, Steph. What you think about this situation, man?
Is Janet Beck right?
Yeah.
Um, I'll follow suit with checkmate. I wish he would fought for the belt, but I'm also okay with it at the same time. Just because it can help propel things forward in the 160 division. Now, what's interesting is Jamal's still kind of the X factor there because there's a lot of talk, good, bad, and ugly, of him moving up or even just staying put. We'll just have to wait to see. That's the real profit there at the time.
Right.
However, I still think promotional outfits are still kind of an issue, especially when you mentioned Munguia. Golden Boy, they don't fight anybody. And when I say they don't fight anybody, they're not trying to pay anybody. So that's a no-go. Even though I think Munguia is the eternal prospect. I think he's gotten better over time, but I do want to see him against some smoke eventually. And kind of back to Devin real fast. Man, I was on a channel earlier. I was driving home from work, and I was just listening to this guy. Man, they were throwing some interesting shade on Devin Haney. It's very contradictory to what we talk about in these spaces with him.
Okay, what did they say?
Something along the lines of like he is ducking Loma, and then the guy was even as far as stupid low as to like throw his father's character in there and his past history and stuff. And I know we talked about those things.
I think Moonshine. I think. Yeah, I've seen a clip on that on Twitter. Yeah.
Actually, this was on Mike Montero's show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know. But,
hey, look, I go at Bill Haney about some character things, but nothing about things that he did outside of his outside life and 20, 30 years ago. It'd be things and comments that he made about things he was going to do to people. And I told him to keep that same energy towards other people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I also have directed that towards the Prince, Jay Prince. Although somebody told me the other day, they said, Julius, I think that the things that you said about Jay Prince, it should be directed at his son because Jay Prince ain't doing it. That's what they say. So I don't know, but go ahead though, Steph.
I was gonna say that, like, that's cool, that's fine, whether it coming from you, me, or even them. And what I mean by that is, I think people use their life experiences on whatever it is that they do or have done, and equate that to actuality, or use those experiences in actuality. And again, we're all people, so we just take it however we do and run with it.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I don't want to hate on Devin, man. He's the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. Whether I question his resume or not, I always say this about the young man. Him and his father have built something good in him. They've worked very hard to get there. They've taken certain paths or roads, whether I agree with it
that
or
was
not.
Unorthodox, right?
However, it's been successful.
Yeah.
Again, the real profit here is time and timing. So they're blessed in that faction, and I'd be a fool to go against that. And one more thing, what was I going to say?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's what I can say. Devin has never ducked smoke, so I don't know why anyone who would have anything crazy to say about him, because Devin's always right there, especially the guys who he's compared to, like the Lopez's and the Tanks and the Ryan Garcias, things like that. He's continuously chased those guys, man, and have said things that I disagree with, but he's right there. He's right there, and they all have an excuse on why they don't need to fight him or won't fight him or whatever it is. So I kind of take a little offense to that when I hear people, taking jabs like that at the young man. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he might be one of the only guys with that level of publicity calling out people. So
if he sucks, take him out.
Right.
Right,
Get him out of there.
right. And then this is what it kind of led to. This is why I brought it up, is because the guy is contractually supposed to fight Kambosos. The guy activated that reclause there, so that's what it is.
That's why I gotta have.
Now he could have got out of that if Bob will pay the money, or he pays whatever needs to be paid, so he can step aside and beat Loma. That could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or Loma could have done the same thing, petition for that. And this is, man, I hate to even hate on Lomachenko too, because I'm just like, but it's hard to defend what he's doing. I'm like, dude, why are you taking this Ortiz fight? Go ahead and be shooting for Devin. I don't know why you would do that.
I'm gonna address that in a second, Steph. But I want to say this one thing about Bill Haney, and this is in all seriousness. As a human being, as a father, any of us that are fathers, to see a man, and I'm gonna put LeVar Ball and all other fathers that do this, Kobe Bryant, what he did with his daughter. Anytime, man, you can take years of your life and dedicate it to your seed, to your child. And I don't care if y'all make bad decisions together, or if you you could have made a better decision and this or that, to dedicate all that time, man, and give them that attention. The man got to be applauded for that alone, because all these people that are out here that are complaining and doing this and doing that, they don't spend no time with their kids. Some of them don't even have children. You know what I'm saying? So for a man to get up here and dedicate his life, taking his son, and even if it was so-called his dream or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's in Devin now, and he's helped that man, because Devin is a man now, help him fulfill, a lifestyle, and just, fulfill dreams that some of us and a lot of people will never approach or never gain. And I'm not even talking about just in boxing, just in life. They ain't gonna never accomplish nothing. That man has accomplished something because of the love that his father have for him. I applaud him. And also, let me to Midwest about the WBC disrespecting him. This is something that I was in a Twitter talk with Art Man about last night. Devin Haney, Josh Taylor, and any undisputed champion. When you become undisputed champion, vacate 2 or 3 of them belts. It makes no sense to pay 2% of your purse to full sanctioning bodies. You already got 8 to 10% of your purse gone before you even pay taxes or anybody on your team. So why would you fight and pay full sanctioning fees to keep these belts, especially a belt like the WBC, where they are the most disrespectful, and you're gonna pay them just so people can say you champ? No, Devin Haney's already a full belt champion. He's already accomplished it. Now he don't have to accomplish it anymore by defending 4 belts. You don't have to defend 4 belts no more. And you know what I'm saying? If you want to do it one time and move up, do it. But I'm with Midwest. I would vacate the WBC immediately. Immediately. But y'all go ahead and y'all can shoot on that, on what I just said.
One of the realities
go
of
ahead,
the situation is that Devin Haney, unfortunately, at this particular point, doesn't provide, well, especially if you listen to all his potential opponents, he doesn't provide a big enough opportunity without the belts. The only reason why I'm glad he didn't drop the belt initially when he only had the one was because people were already talking about not fighting him and he was a champion. So being a non-champion in any division would have made his situation even worse, because monetarily his stock isn't where people find it to be worth people find it to be worth the
take the
loss.
risk.
Yeah, worth the loss basically. It's it's not like you're gonna. I mean, when he was on the zone, he was giving people the highest paydays, but you're not gonna make 5 million or whatever, fighting him because there's no pay per view usually attached and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that him for the meantime, in between time, keeping the undisputed title on his head gives people an incentive. It doesn't incentivize everybody, but it gives a lot of the division some incentive. And personally, after Kambosos, then I think he should vacate and make Lomachenko come up to 140 and start mixing it up there.
No, no,
And if Lomachenko don't want it, then this bitch ass can do something else, and then
no,
Tiafimo
no.
can come and get
D-Hop,
some.
D-Hop, sir. Lomachenko is a 26 pounder. He's not gonna go fight.
So was Tank.
One different story though, sir.
Why?
Different story. Different. Why? Because Loma,
Tank is
who's he
smaller
fought
than
that big?
Lomachenko.
I
Tank-
understand that, but they're not the same caliber fighter. They're not.
That's
They're
true.
not even. And I know you think what I think on that, but what I mean by that is that I don't see Loma going all the way that high and try to not even Tank.
Tank already
Tank's
been to
not gonna go
140.
founders. I understand that, but selective 140. He's not going to fight all those.
All right.
Those guys are twice his size. But
It was a
I want to say
5'10"
real fast.
140.
Yes, sir. But I want to say this about the belts because we all have an opinion about the belts. Look, man, gentlemen, I like and love the belts and hate the belts just as much as you guys. The problem I see with the belts, I say this on a lot of streams. They make it very difficult to see who the best is, and then who's fighting for the best. Which I would nextly say, the belt still matters who you beat to get that belt. So that's why I think in this situation, Devin is kind of hanging on to him, and kind of I think Diab, you made that point about him, or actually Midwest everyone's making good points about him, who should drop or not. I don't necessarily think so, just because he's still trying to prove he can fight the best, simply put. But no, not Loma. I mean, just to grant that, who would he beat in 140? And I'm talking about Smoke. I'm not talking about no Pedro Campa looking ass. who would he beat? Seriously.
And let me read Ronnie Bravo. He put in the comments. He said, makes no sense to pay sanctioning fees to a sanctioning body who can't actually legally sanction a fight. The state athletic commission does that. So why are they worth 3%? Hey, look, man, I want that. Look, Oscar De La Hoya is definitely not anyone that we can trust. I agree with that. But one thing that Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather did that not too many other fighters do is that they didn't pay the sanctioning bodies 3%. They told the sanctioning bodies, if y'all want to sanction the fight and it be for a championship, we're gonna give you what we want to give you. Manny Pacquiao did that. And that's why if you go back and look at a couple of Oscar De La Hoya reigns or even Floyd Mayweather, there were fights that they made with good fighters where no titles were on the line. Man, you have to look. A lot of times things happen years earlier and people say, oh, there we go with the good old day talk. But look, sometimes that stuff makes sense. Why pay these people 3%? And then if you got 4 belts, guys, I feel everybody, but that's 10% of your purse gone, and you ain't and you ain't paid nobody else. You haven't even paid taxes. How are they worth it? That's what I'm asking. Once you achieve it, how is it worth it to continue with it? And I'm talking that for Josh Taylor, who I applaud for giving up some of the belts, even though I will say a couple of them matchups he didn't want. But at the same time, why would you pay 10%? Say you making $3 million. You giving up $300,000 to 4 sanctioning bodies? Y'all go ahead.
Is Josh Taylor still a top rank fighter?
Wait,
Yes, he still is.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I believe again, when it comes to the sanctioning fees, Bill Haney and Devin Haney has already stated on several occasions they have never paid a sanctioning fee. That the promoter or the network has always picked up that tab for them. Okay,
Okay,
True.
so
cool.
True.
it's all in what you negotiate. Now, with that promoter, with that network, it's case by
Okay.
case basis. If you're not smart enough to negotiate that, then guess what? You're going to be paying them fees. Now the thing about it as well, I think someone said. Uh, uh, I was about to call it Chaco. I think I was about to
Now
call
you
you
go ahead,
Chaco.
check. No, no, check. You can say it
I think
because
no.
no, it's not.
I was
No, no,
looking
no, no,
at
no,
you.
no,
I
no,
didn't see the name. My bad. I was,
no,
what
no,
Steph
because
says,
because
like,
no,
but
because real
but
fast, check, real fast. The reason why I'm gonna give you the okay on that is because at when you told me that at the beginning of the show, you know who I thought of? Chico Mendes.
You go in there.
Yeah, so
okay. Well, Google Choco. You'll definitely see what I'm talking about. Um, li- Listen. So the thing about it is, as well, with the sanctioning fees, excuse me, with the belts, regardless of the sanctions, the belts. If you got undisputed, that's a marketing tool in itself. You should be able to command a higher purse. You should be able to command marketing and advertisement and commercial rights because of having those belts. You know what I mean? So that old saying, you got to pay, the pay the cost to be the boss. You know what I mean? So how many times have we seen this? So we're talking about people paying sanction fee, but this happens so rarely that it doesn't come up. So if I'm undisputed, I would probably do three. I would do 2 or 3 defenses max, and then I'll drop some belts. I'll always maintain my keep a belt, whatever. But I'll after 2 or 3 because I want to defend as undisputed. Josh Taylor never defended as undisputed. Josh Taylor, gave away the belt because he didn't like you said, he didn't like the matchup that he was going to have to face. So he used this as an excuse. I want to rematch Catterall. Well, guess what? You could have rematched Catterall after you faced your mandatory. Okay, that fight would have been there. So this was Josh Taylor's way of running. To me, I don't the sanction fees. My brother Julius, you're a smart guy, everything, and effective, but
Mhm.
to just I would personally, again, I want to say that I defended as undisputed, and then guess what? I'll drop him and then fight for him again, just so I can say I'm a 2-time or 3-time undisputed. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
So but like Jamel Charlo, I'm glad he's defending as undisputed. Okay, like I said, if he defends 2 or 3 times, drop some belts after that, so he can be undisputed again. Um, but I'm glad. I want to see dominance. Okay, I don't like this cherry picking. I don't like for instance, Canelo's undisputed run. I despised it. The reason why I despise it because he fought a lot of fighters, Europeans. Yeah, we call it Euro trash over here. You know what I mean?
ugh.
The bums of the weeks that what I mean. They just happen to have a belt. I mean, remember he got his first 168 belt by beating Rocky Fielding. Okay. And in the ring at that time
Mm,
called him a 3 division champ. He made history. When Tank did it, they
right.
said Tank cheapened it and whatever the case may be. So
Hold on.
undisputed.
Now hold. Midwest just made a point, and it's true. Josh Taylor did defend undisputed against
Yeah,
Catterall the first fight,
I was gonna
so he
say that.
did defend it once. He did
Okay.
defend
But
it
Thank you
real
for
once.
fast,
correcting that. Thank you for correcting me.
No
real
problem.
fast check, real fast check. Yeah, man. All right. Um, Canelo's undisputed run. That should let every boxing fan fanatic know that he is everything wrong with boxing because it was totally cherry picked. And I hate to even use that. Like it's all phony. It's fraud, man. I mean, remember when he said he was too small for Triple G, and he goes and beats Triple G, and then as soon as David loses his belt, you go up there and start cherry picking dudes, man.
Mm,
I,
Da-
I,
Dave,
I love Canelo, man. I think he's an excellent fighter, but this guy is really, really exhausted his blessings to me. It's sad, man. We could go on all night, but
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, sir.
They
D Hive, jump in there, D Hive. What you think, man?
About defending undisputed specifically.
Yes,
Um,
and
for me,
sanctioning fees and all that. Yeah,
well, the sanctioning fees, if you can get somebody else to pay for them, by all means, it adds an incentive to hold the belt because then you have more options to make the best possible fights happen. But for me, as far as defending undisputed, it really depends. Excuse me. It really depends on who the opponents are. If we know for it's like imagine if Shakur got undisputed at 130, like come on now. There's hardly any real smoke down there left right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah,
it would be
130
very
sucks.
boring. Yeah, it would be very boring to watch Shakur defend undisputed 15 times because he would just run over everybody.
right.
However, if you're in a situation where 135 is constantly competitive, or you're in a situation where you're at 154 or 147 where you can get some good fights, yeah, every fight for undisputed are massive pay-per-view events where people can go and see everything on the line in a real life King of the Hill situation. That's actually fun.
Right.
So for me, if there's nobody else down there, then yeah, take a lot. Or if you've been in one division for a long time, or you're getting older and you want to just move up to be more comfortable, then yeah, take off. But if there's quality smoke like at 140, what you running for? Alberto Puello didn't have that much gas on him. And all the rest of these people, and with Catterall, that decision was so bad they had to file a lawsuit. So
Well, can I ask y'all a question real fast? Do y'all
No.
think that something in regards to, like I say, Josh Taylor, it hasn't been reported that he can't come to America, but it is a discussion. Like people are, what I'm saying, wondering. Do
he
you
was
we think
MTK
that,
like a motherfucker.
huh?
I said he was MTK like crazy.
That so if he can't come into America and he knows this, that may be one of the reasons that he just go ahead and relinquish titles as well. Because let's be honest, if you can't come to America and you lose a purse bid, you're in trouble.
I'm
Because yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, Josh Taylor, when that news dropped, he was probably the only fighter in that situation that was happy as a clam. He was like, "Oh, thank God, I have an excuse to stay away
Cozy,
from that."
good afternoon too, Cozy. What's up, brother?
Hey, Cozy. Yeah,
I'm
but
good.
Josh,
How's everybody?
What's up,
All right,
Cozy?
sir. Welcome
Josh
in.
Taylor was probably like, "Thank God I don't have to deal with that situation. I can come back, chill. I got a reason to get off all these straps. I can just fight Catterall for a bag, and then whenever I don't want to fight anybody, I can just say, oh well, I'm working on my situation. Things have gotten political. I just defended, and I just got married. Whatever, whatever. He can go through all
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Cozy, what's up, but good brother? Tell me what you think, man, about that situation with Devin Haney and the Undisputed, and also with the Josh Taylor. And Midwest said Bob can get him off that ban list if he wanted to. We got to remember Bob, the reason why they're on it. Absolutely, but hey, this is getting into different things other than boxing, but it all started because of boxing. But look, man, when you snitch or when you cooperate with law enforcement, there's gonna be someone fall in regards to it. You know what I'm saying? So Bob Arum, talking, there was collateral damage with his own people. Tyson Fury, Josh Taylor, because here's the thing. Unfortunately, even if Bud Crawford was put on that list, hey, he don't have to leave America. I don't think that Bud Crawford really cares. Like most people that's in America, that's making money in America, do not care about they can't leave America. Like that's not a issue with them. So, what do you think, Cozy, in regards to the other situation with Josh Taylor, Devin Haney, sanctioning fees, defendant undisputed?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, first off, I think D Hive just hit it on the head. I haven't heard everything, but D Hive definitely just hit it on the head when he said not all undisputed are created equal, right? So
Right.
obviously, when it comes to Devin Haney, he only had to beat one man to beat it. And listen, everybody that knows anything about boxing, like especially all 4 or 5 of us up here, knew that George Kambosos is not really a true champion in the sense of a true test. You know what I'm
Right.
saying, for Devin Haney. So defending undisputed, against George Kambosos, it doesn't mean nearly as much to me as it would him beating a Tank Davis, him beating, you know what I'm saying, like Keyshawn, anybody of those talented fighters at
Right.
the division. You know what I mean? So there's that. Josh Taylor, I mean, listen, man. He went through a gauntlet. He had some questionable decisions, some would say, but listen, he won, and that's good for him. Congratulations. But what I would tell him is, I, contrary to everybody else's opinion, I don't think Josh Taylor is a special fighter. I think he's a good fighter to even maybe great fighter. So him defending it, sure, it's good for his legacy. I absolutely believe defending your belts always helps kind of like define yourself as the champion of whatever sanctioning body or organization you have. But for keep winning at 140, he was getting split decisions, and like you said, the Jack Catterall thing was so bad they had to like take it to court. You know what I'm saying? So like, was he
Right.
really truly undisputed? No. So that's my general thoughts on that.
Okay. And listen, guys, I want to read something about this guy. Um, Steph, you had, I think you had listened to Michael Montero, correct? Steph once went out. Okay, but I'm
No,
gonna
no, no,
make a,
no. Yeah, yeah. You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
All right. Well, this is something that came from his account in 2013. This is some post that he had put. It said,
Mhm.
I can agree that institutionalized racism exists, but so effing what? I am a minority. I had the odds against me. I'm not going to piss away my life and blame my challenges on some rich white congressman and walk around with a chip on my shoulder because of instead of letting my self-sufficient self astro me with freebies. Do you want to know why the black community fails so much? Welfare. Take welfare away and bet your butt they will be with the Mexicans in the produce fields, and then they can teach their kids a good work ethic. And perhaps they can see the value in having a two-family income family unit, thus improving the quality of living for their children, not just materialistic, but more importantly, morally. See my example with the Italian American experience above. Mexicans are the new Italians in many ways, brother. Similar flag too. Ha ha. Continue doing you. And the reason that I read this is because, brother, I started off the show and I'm about to go and show my face again now. Um, I started off the show speaking about in reference to a tweet that I put out about giving these race soldiers a platform and things of that nature. And let me say this, man. This these type of comments from these type of boxing people is the reason that I say and talk about the things that I talk about in Twitter and in life. A guy like that being in boxing is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And just in life in general. And these are the type of people because boxing is such a sport where people are have pride of their country and things of that nature that we get some of those type of people. And these type of people end up writing or for a publication or putting up pound for pounds. And sometimes their comments, the bigger that they get in boxing, their comments hurt fighters. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, they put it, oh, I'm just talking boxing. But that's what you think, and that's what you believe in your regular everyday life. So why it wouldn't go into boxing? But this is why I talk to Art Man and other people about these race soldiers getting a platform. I'm not giving them one. On this show, if you're a soldier, you won't be up here talking. That's period. And it doesn't matter about your race. If you're a soldier, you won't be up here. There's a couple black soldiers. They don't get up here either. So I'm just letting y'all know, man, that was Michael Montero. If you want to comment on it, you can. But you had brought up his name earlier, Steph, and that's why I just wanted to read that off when he was talking about the good brother Bill Haney. You can go ahead.
And you know, I have to check myself before I start spouting anything and everything off on that particular subject.
Mm-hmm.
But excuse me, at first glance, man, you know, when I hear stuff like that, and I'm just going to use white folks for the example, they've never, I don't want to say never, but they don't talk to black folks and don't have conversations with black folks on black folks subjects talking like that. Because what he said is simply a lie. It's not true.
Facts. Facts.
We could just start there.
He said produce field, right?
Right.
When I was out there, fortunately, I lived and came from North Carolina, like y'all know. When I was out there in those tobacco fields, it was a lot of black people. It was more black people than anybody else out there. And we had some Mexicans out there too that used to come from Mexico and work during the summers and go back to Mexico for the winter. And bro, I don't know what Michael Montero talking about, but anyway, go ahead.
And for starters, I'm 32. I'll be 33 next month, and when we start talking about subjects like this, because I live in Orange County, so there's a healthy Asian population out here, and two of my best friends are Vietnamese, and they kind of start chopping at the bit at subjects like this, and I have to remind them, I'm like, look, brothers, who do you think the original help is? Who do you think that was? Where do you think that word comes from? And I tell them all the time, and you can attest to this too, Julius. Black everything that you see Mexican folks doing today, that was black people 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
50, 100 years ago. Right.
I don't know what y'all talking about, man. Like,
and they still do it. That's the other thing. They still do it. When we see people getting off them garbage trucks sometimes, all the time, what color they be?
Dark as me, man.
Yeah, all right, there you go.
Me.
My grandfather did that. He was a sanitation worker for like 35 years.
Absolutely. And you call it a sanitation worker, but your grandfather and me, we called it a garbage man.
Well, he had different jobs, but yeah, that was one of them. And he steadily moved up. And
right. Yeah, but he started off on the garbage truck, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how they did us.
One more thing, gentlemen, too, before we start going everywhere. I think this is very, very important too when we start talking about things like this. And it could be anyone, especially you soldiers out there. You have to listen to learn. And I just be listening to folks and they just be saying anything, man. And I think that's what's the real racism and real disrespectful, because you're saying things about folks that you don't even know what you're talking about, man. Not even a clue. You're not even in the same area as it. You're just being mean. You're just talking nasty, man.
That's all.
And why do I say that, Julius? Because that's in me. I've done things like that. I'm right there with them, man. So and no diss to Mike or anything like that. I could really care for less for him and all that type of stuff. But he, for someone who has a platform like that and talking like that, I'm shocked because he didn't know all that what he said is not true.
Right.
So whatever, man. And I'm like you now, Julius. And when I say I'm like you, man, I'm not trying to talk to people like that. I'm not trying to hate people. I'm not trying to change their mind. I don't even want to be in the same area, man. I really don't, because
we have nothing to talk about.
We have nothing to talk about. You already have your assumed judgments and natures of who I am, and you don't even know me, man. And when I say me, I'm talking about people who look like me. You already, in fact, rather than think, But dare I say, I always say this too when I get around to white folks. I'm like, look, man, how many black folks are in your phone that you can call up right now and talk about this stuff with? and it just be crickets, just be crickets. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, why are you talking about it then? Like, well, why are you so, in absolutes?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna leave it right there, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, D Hive or Checkmate. One of y'all check in if you want to say something about that.
Yeah, well, he's blocked me. He blocked me a long time ago because I called Montero. I called him a racist, and he blocked me a
Right.
long time ago. I still can see his tweets. That's the crazy thing. Listen, if you got multiple browsers, you can just copy the tweet in another browser. You can read everything he's saying. So I still, if I need to see something, I can see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is the fact that Ring employs someone like this. To
Mm-hmm.
say these such insensitive things, but it's not just the first time. Steve Kim has said similar things. All
Oh
of
yeah.
these groups of
Recently.
writers,
Yeah.
right? All of these writers, they're so insensitive and racist because it's about it's tribalism to them. They want to erase the history of Black American fighters, and they're using their books so somebody can look back 20 years from now and say who was the ring champion on this time, or who was the number one, who was the top pound per pound then. So it's
Julius,
not
I'll be
even
right back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Go ahead.
They don't even care about whether it's factual or not. They just print it, put it. But when you have a responsibility, when you're hiring these people, if you're a teacher and if Michael Montero was a teacher in a school and he said something like that, he would be fired. If he worked for the government and he said something like that, he would be fired. If he was a sportscaster on TV and he said something like that, he'll be fired. What was
Immediately.
Jimmy the Greek? Remember the Jimmy the Greek? He said
yeah.
slaves were bred.
Right. That's right.
To make
that black people
to
were
make
made
black athletes
in the
better.
slave quarters. Right.
Listen. I ain't gonna say anything he said was wrong, but it's just you say it like that on that that's no place to even say something like that, whether it's right or wrong. We know what happened, but guess what? We also know there was a lot of rapings involved too. Are you going to talk about that aspect?
And that's where Jimmy the Greek could have did that. He would have still got fired at that particular moment, except he could have used it as a teaching moment and talked about the atrocities that went on with it, and not just act like that black people signed up to get put in a laboratory and made into athletes. That's the way he made it. Like it was just the most beautiful thing ever. So yeah, he had to go.
When you say something like bread, you know what I mean? It's just something about that where we can say it amongst each other, but you're not going to say that because we know what that implies. Okay. And you're talking about the slave aspect of it. You know what I mean? So that was just in poor taste, period. So Montero is doing the same thing. Why does he have a job? Why isn't there outrage? Why isn't Ring being boycotted?
Right.
Why is it Ring? And remember,
because I said earlier, us fans have to, speak up and speak out.
Right. But remember, Oscar has already. I've posted the email several times where the Golden Boy Eric Gomez, he called, Heyman. They were talking about, what the nigger is up to now. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's par for the course, but they need to be sanctioned. That's my whole problem. That's why I agree with Devin is doing. Fighters need to align in unity. Drop that ring belt. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you don't care about Montero's views and what he think about Steve Kim or Dougie Fisher or the guy, what's the guy in England, Tom Gray. If you don't care about their opinions, why you care about their rankings and why you care about their belt? Eliminate it. All the boxers need to go ahead and form a solidarity and boycott Montero, boycott the ring, need some restitution, do a class action lawsuit, because again, their rankings based on their statements, you already know going in how they're going to rate these fighters. They're doing Black American fighters a disservice. They're trying to eliminate an entire generation of elite fighters by acting like they don't exist. And coupled with that racism, we already know how you're going to vote. Some action needs to be taken, and not just Devin Haney, but Devin Haney is the start of it. Thank you, Devin.
Hey, D-Hive, what do you think about those comments by Michael Montero?
Honestly, I've never really followed him. The only reason I even see his tweets is because for a little bit, me and some Terrence Crawford fanatics, I got into it, and they just started retweeting some of his garbage. But no, I muted him, so I don't really see anything. But yeah, if he's an employee of Ring Magazine, I mean, that's what he does, and that's his shtick, and that's what gets a lot of people traction on Twitter. You take the most blatantly anti-black stance, and people assume you're being fair. If you take any sort of stance that gives black fighters just credit, minus Terrence Crawford, they assume that you're being biased. How Terrence Crawford gets this special favor, I will never understand.
He
I
was
will
with
never.
Bob. That's why. He was with
That's
Bob.
why, because people actually love Bob that damn much. Like,
Well, Bob pays the ring bills.
Top Rank handles that.
They have a deal with the ring. Absolutely.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't even know. Okay, well that solves that problem, because I was very confused why Terrence Crawford gets special favor all these years. But yeah, no, unless it's Terrence Crawford, you really can't say anything that gives black fighters any just credit. But fortunately for me, like I said, I don't really listen to him. I don't follow him, and I have him muted.
And let me say this before Cozy go. And I'm talking about the new ring, because there was a time, man, where the Ring magazine, when they called it the Bible of boxing, it was the Bible, man. You could go to it and you could get some real good, value from it, man. It went into boxer's career, and it was real unbiased. It didn't matter who you was. It says what it said. It let the numbers speak for it. But now it's all different. Ronnie Bravo said the problem is, as black people, we try to get others' approval so much, and also it's not my job to make you feel comfortable around me. Cozy, what do you think about those comments that I made? That Michael Montero made, that I read.
Yeah, what I would say is this. Michael Montero, I've never heard of him, to be honest with you. You guys just saying it. I shouldn't even say, excuse me, let me say that. I'll say that. I don't follow him. I saw him one time, I think, on my Twitter timeline, and he was saying something that I thought was real funny. So I just ignored it, moved on. The same thing with like a Steve Kim or whoever that I see. But those comments specifically, funny enough, again, I don't want to get too deep, but we have to connect some dots here, because nothing comes from nowhere, right? You know what I'm saying? Everything comes from somewhere. So this guy, what you were saying when he was like trying to compare Mexicans to Italians and stuff like that,
right?
It's kind of like that's an old white supremacist tactic of pitting people against each other, pitting groups against each other to kind of like divide and conquer in a way. And what I mean by that is, if you go back and look at Adolf Hitler really studied Japanese culture, like Asian culture a lot, but Japanese culture specifically. And he used to always prop them up. He was obviously, was really for the purity of race. He had all that race eugenics and all that stuff. But I'm saying he really tried to prop up Japanese and Asian culture and pit it against other cultures and say, see, look at these culture. These people are disciplined. They have order, et cetera, right? To kind of like make an example of them as this is the group that, they're doing the things the right way. And look at all these other people. Sounded like Michael Montero was doing that with Mexicans versus black people, and talking about, oh, look at these Mexicans. They working hard. They're the new Italians, blah, blah, blah. I mean, listen.
Black man lazy. Yeah.
Right. That ignores so much historical context with Italians and how they, worked with the state and stuff to get their way up. And, we have RICO charges because of the Italians. But I'm not even going to get into all that. There's nothing against this guy. Nothing against the Italians.
Yeah, they definitely changed the criminal game. You better believe that.
You know what I'm saying? So listen, man, I'm from New York, so I see and deal with Italians all day. So listen, he can say what he wants, but what I will say about him, like you said, anybody with those thoughts and ideologies working in a sport that is predominantly black, Then you kind of see, oh, he works with Ring Magazine. No wonder Lomachenko's always up there. No wonder, whoever, what's his name, Better Biev and all these different people. And there's no disrespect to them as fighters, but I'm just saying, you see there, that's a reflection of his ideology. You know what I'm saying? So like for us as black people, we just got to stop giving these type of people any type of attention, because you got to understand, clicks drive ratings. Clicks are reported back as analytics to these companies, and they're like, oh, he gets good engagement, blah blah blah, da, da, da. Whether it's good or bad, he's gonna get that. So we just gotta ignore him. You know what I'm saying? Really just starve
A-
him out so he can get up out the sport. Because we don't need people like that in the sport. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Again, I spoke earlier before I even knew about that, and I said that us as fans, man, we have to eradicate, get these guys out of there. I mean, they
Absolutely.
comments, and here's the other thing: a lot of times with these soldiers, for some reason we use these soldiers comments and stuff, and we want to retweet it and start conversations with what these people say, and these folks don't even know what they talking about in the sport. That's the thing. That's number one. And then number two, I like the comment I made today. Once you show me you're a soldier, there's no coming back for it. There's no, oh, well, I'll give them a pat. Man, are you crazy? Are you crazy? There's nothing to talk about. Let's
What is there
don't
to give
give
him a
it, there's
pass for?
nothing to talk about. Don't even, why? Yeah, what are you giving a pass for? Lots of time people give passes. People haven't even asked for the pass. They stand on what they say. But I'm just saying, man, we have to get these soldiers. I don't care if they're on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, in life. I mean, Instagram, whatever, Facebook. Get them out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? This is the time, and like I say, I use this platform so that we can have a voice, so that we can have a real, true voice, man, and we can talk sports. I had, told Checkmate and D Hive this before. It was a time, man. I would, talk my basketball, baseball, tennis. You know what I'm saying? And I would be talking, and these guys, when they figure out that I'm black, they don't even want to continue speaking about it. You know what I'm saying? They could, oh man, oh my God, man, we having great conversation. This is good. Then they see my face come up. Then they like, ugh, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? They don't even want to talk no more. So this is why I open up this platform, man, so that we can have our voice and we can talk. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
this is the goal,
Sure.
right? So what you're doing is you're contributing to the solution. I mean, and
Yeah.
more people need to follow you. That's why I support you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And I
you're doing
appreciate
the
that,
right thing.
buddy.
You feel me? Because,
Yeah.
like you said, there's too many of those people that have elevated platforms. They're not just, randomly on YouTube and stuff. They're at, like you said, Ring Magazine or
Yeah.
Top Rank or The Zone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, we got to take our sport back.
And Twitter
Right.
is adding podcasts now, so you might only have to use one application. You might just, you might be able to broadcast from Twitter, but then again, you'd want to bring people back to the YouTube for revenue purposes. So I get that, but
Absolutely.
yeah, I just think it's funny now. All the usual suspects gonna be going crazy. Everybody gonna be competing to be the Joe Rogan of boxing Twitter. Everybody gonna be talking about, oh, I know this person, I know that person, and this is gonna go from spaces to podcasts, I guess.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that comment from Montero, man, I went on and I retweeted that because, like I say, I want to expose soldiers, man. You know what I'm saying? If you in that army, you got it. We need to know you in the army. Don't hide from being in the army. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that's what need to happen. You need to get exposed because, like I say, it's with Devin Haney today. It's gonna be with this fighter tomorrow, and then we could say, oh, it's just boxing, but then next thing you know, like Checkmate said, their opinions sway views of these fighters, and in the end it hurt their purses. So
And not
that's
only that,
Exactly.
yeah, go ahead.
and not only that, casuals that are just now coming into boxing who haven't really
Right.
watched much of the sport, they're absorbing this garbage and pushing narratives that may drive fights to either be made or not made. And that's really aggravating. It's just like the situation where people were trying to justify Lomachenko getting a Kambosos fight over anybody else. It's like, based off of what? He
Right.
has now 2 losses and no belts. Lomachenko does not deserve shit. He's constantly been put into position, and he's constantly either pushed out through some weird political means, or he hasn't been up to the task and lost. It's time to move on. He's like 35 or
Right.
whatever. I'm tired of this dude. Get this dude out of here. And if Devin Haney has to fight him, and if Devin Haney wins, I'm accepting his resignation. I want retirement speech. I'm tired. Get out of
Right,
here.
exactly.
I'm
For
tired
real,
of you,
though,
dude.
man.
You're not
No
that guy.
question.
Get over it. Like Anthony
Have y'all
Joshua
seen
has,
what they did?
what they do. Well,
Look, his next opponent. What's that kid name?
honey,
Ortiz.
I hope Jermaine Ortiz get lucky and smoke his ass.
Yeah, but look, somehow he got ranked in the top 10 in one of these sanctioning rank bodies. So
You know that's
now
trash.
they're manipulating it. They're like, all right, look, Lomachenko fought another top 10 opponent. Oh, look at
But
that resume.
Of course.
a undefeated guy who beat former champion Jamel Herring,
Jamel Herring.
who's gotten destroyed
Right.
by every southpaw he's ever fought because Bomac can't make adjustments. Man, I'm tired of this garbage.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, man.
I can't believe,
The
I
fact,
cannot believe, what's the name, Herring stuck with Bomac this entire time, knowing damn well he can't fight southpaws. Like, bro,
Well,
every single southpaw you fought, you have lost handedly. Why haven't you been able to adjust this? It's 4 losses to southpaw.
well, I mean, and then Bomac released him. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
like Herring was the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Steph,
you
are
got with
you
Manny
back, brother?
Robles.
I was trying to see if Steph had came back. All right. I didn't see him. So look, guys, let's talk about Deontay Wilder releasing his tapes. Bronny Bravo said Montero still salty that Leonard Ellerby sunned him in public. Oh, no doubt. That was a beautiful moment. But yeah, let's talk about what we feel about Deontay Wilder releasing the video. How do y'all think he looks? And we saw him doing some road work and everything. So what do y'all think? What's y'all feel of him so far? What you've been seeing? I mean, training
Well,
camp, he still got a whole month left. So go ahead.
okay. Well, I'm a huge Deontay Wilder fan. I just think the game plan from the Fury fight, try to make him into a brawler when he's a sniper, just wasn't the right game plan. I have faith that he's going to beat Hellenius, but I still think he needs a new trainer. I think being as though Wilder was Malik's first person he's ever trained, I just think he went into it. I just think he needs some experience, and I want Malik to kind of be the second in command and learn from him all. Because I seen some things, but I'm glad he's working. I'm telling you, to be honest, the most thing I like about it the most, the tapes, I saw him running around the track. This after he was saying when he was, on the video with JD, saying, he ain't never run. So this is show that he's willing, you know what I mean, to do the things that he didn't like to do, and in order to, to get back to being the best. So I like the fact that he is training. I'm hoping he gets more instructions, from another trainer other than just Malik. That's all.
Go ahead, Cozy. What did you think about the videos that's coming out? Or if you think anything, or if you just think it's nothing so far, what you think?
I'm listening. You know, videos are always good. We saw videos before his last fight with Fury, and then we saw the changes that he made in the first round, and then him revert back to his same old ways. And
Which
listen, this is
helped.
coming from what's helped, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a Wilder fan, so let's be clear when I say this. But I think that we just need to wait until he gets into the ring to see the improvements. Um, Again, I will say this with any trainer, I think you can't change in one fight. So, listen, he probably will have more of Malik Scott's teachings in this next fight. But yeah, as far as the videos and stuff like that, it's all good to see road work and stuff, but we got to see it translate in the ring, man. And I'm rooting for Deontay, and I think he will beat Hellenius. You know what I'm saying? But going forward, just got to continue with the improvements, man.
Gotcha. Go ahead, D Hive. What you been seeing? I know me and you had a little, back and forth on what we saw today. But go ahead, tell me what you see, and if you encourage.
I agree with Checkmate as far as the cardio aspect, him getting down to his, original fighting weight, which was damn near cruiserweight. I always said he was like two chicken sandwiches away from cruiserweight, and they're lucky he didn't decide to just go ahead and make that. But but yeah, I am happy to see that. I'm looking at the pad work, and like we talked about, the softness of the jab is bothering me, but also like I'm not gonna get too amped off of the training footage because last time I did that, I got set up for disappointment. Now I do believe he is going to ice Hellenius because Hellenius is Hellenius and he's wilder, but I see a lot of stuff like they're doing double left hooks and stuff like that. Like Deontay really doesn't, with all due respect, throw a left hook much, or at least he hasn't really thrown a left hook. I think since what, Areola. I don't want him to get stuck on trying to implement all this new stuff and this new training system and turn into something that creates more liabilities than assets. That's all I'm trying to say. I just I mean, I appreciate they're trying to incorporate new skills, but Malik got him in there doing all this other stuff that he ain't really be doing, and it's like, all right, bro, like I don't. Yeah, but I
Well,
mean,
what
he looks good.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I saw,
What?
dude, the first
Go
fight, I
ahead.
mean, the last fight, excuse me, I saw some change, and I saw, listen, he was going to the body that was good, but they turned him into a brawler, and he's not a brawler. He's not built to be a brawler, right? So he didn't take advantage of his strengths, which is that, that snapping jab. Every time he's got a highlight knockout punch, it was disguised. You didn't see it coming. And I saw a lot in the fight that his jab, I mean, excuse me, his power right wasn't disguised. You knew it was coming. And then of course he threw every punch very hard, which depleted his energy. If you saw in the first two rounds in which he won those rounds, you know what I mean, against Fury, but it was just like he exerted so much energy that just trying to put maximum power into every shot that he just kind of shot his load. So I just hope that they don't try to make him a brawler, that they will, the fact that like D Hive said, they have slimmed down, that they're going to turn him back into that sniper. Now we know when it gets down to it, when we saw Wilder outbox the first what's the guy with the that he knocked out when he had the rematch for
Stavern.
Stavern. The first
Mhm.
Stavern fight, Wilder boxed for 12 rounds. You know what I mean? And he was
Right.
able to stay away. The Fury fight, Wilder did not try to move out of the way of punches. I don't know. He was a strongman contest to him. He took it personal. I don't know. That's not smart. But hopefully this fight, you know what I mean? He's going to be on his wheel, stick and move, sniper jab, boom, knock him out. Okay.
All right. Steph, we was talking about what we had seen, the videos that are released, not too much, but just a little bit. Are you encouraged by what you're looking at with Deontay, or do you think it's just really nothing right now? We only gonna have to, wait until the fight.
Uh, both, sir. I am encouraged because I see Deontay who's happy, and when I say see him feeling himself, it just I see him happy with the respect that he's getting. He's such a loving person already. And jovial as it is, that when he got customers like us and around the world talking about him, I think he's enjoying that a little bit. And then
Hmm.
from all I've seen, all the snippets, yeah, man. And then just piggybacking off what Checkmate said, I hope he just hits his 1-2s and kind of snipes the knockout. something I'm familiar seeing with. So yeah, well, I'm happy with the brother, man. I'm happy with
Yeah.
him, and I'm happy
Yeah.
with this fight too. I mean, I couldn't have pictured him fighting anyone else. And when I say that, maybe because I just can't think of anybody else. But yeah, I'm happy with him.
Yeah. I definitely agree with all y'all, man. Only thing is, I'm looking for him. I think that really there are just certain athletes, just when you have success, I don't think that you should always think about reinventing the wheel. Deontay has had success starting boxing at 19, 18, 19 years old. Uh, and it's led him all the way to being a 37-year-old man that got knockouts, got one of the best knockout ratios in heavyweight history, won the title, defended it 10 times. Um, I don't think that you need to reinvent the wheel. I just think that you need to keep it still the old 1-2, and you can add a 3 with the left hook. And the left hook was the only thing that I liked. Um, and I don't think that Deontay needs to do double left hooks, just one. You know what I'm saying? Or if he want to do a body and to the head. But again, a lot of that stuff, like Mike Tyson, hey, that stuff is for guys that have been boxing for a while. You know what I'm saying? All Deontay need to do is just that 1, 2, 3, man, and go on home. You know what I'm saying? And I like to see the cardio because I think that um, conditioning played a part in that Tyson Fury fight. It wasn't just the fact of Tyson Fury laying on him. I think conditioning, man, and I think that road work is important in our sport. You know what I'm saying? Swimming is good, but I think running is important as well. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an old school guy. I seen a lot of these new school boxers running on the treadmill. I think that's all right. But I think getting out there on that track like Deontay was doing, or getting on that highway like Floyd Mayweather used to do, I think I like that better. You know what I'm saying? Like something Pernell Whitaker said before he died. Rest in peace, Pernell. He said, "Man, I just get one of my partners and we get out there and we run. I ain't sitting in no freezing machine." He was talking about the hype chamber. He was like, "Man, I ain't doing all that crazy stuff." I think that that's, you know what I'm saying, what Deontay need to do at this point is just keep it basic, run, do his 1, 2, 3s, and go on home, man. But we'll see. We'll see. Robert Helenius, I'm with y'all. I think that's a perfect, comeback opponent, though. I think that's good. I don't think it's too easy, and I don't think it's too hard. I think it's just right, man.
Right, Deontay
Right.
Wilder said in an interview that he picked him because he's coming off a solid winning streak. He has high spirits. He's been performing at his best, and because it's a sparring partner, so it made a little bit of sense. But he's not in a situation where he's in a drought. He's coming off his best back-to-back knockout wins.
Facts.
So he's coming back. So he's coming back with that. So it's in a good place. Not to mention he's a top 10 heavyweight, and if Deontay can get rid of him, it's a possibility he might be right underneath Dubois for the WBA.
Well, here's the thing: if they go on and strip Tyson Fury and keep trying, I mean, could that be for the title? Him and Helenius.
Mm, I don't know if the WBC was sanctioned that, maybe, but
I mean,
Helenius is with the WBA so
because
far.
but I'm saying Deontay is in the mandatory position, correct?
Yeah, he's number one.
I mean, and y'all just told me that the Lomachenko situation, they made a guy that's never been ranked. Now they got him in the top 10. So, you know,
There's a
Let me
key
say something.
difference between Lomachenko and Wilder. So,
yeah, I agree.
so,
I agree. I
And just what you
agree.
said about the Loma, I wanted to chime in earlier. We all said was talking about the Loma. My thing about the Loma is, first of all, he's the intercontinental champion. Why they don't say that? He won the belt. Be proud of it, right? Why don't they market him as the Intercontinental Champion? Because that's exactly what he is. But he does not deserve that fight. So how people saying he's ducking him when him and Tank, he said he would accept Tank's offer when Tank called him out. So how does Loma get that Eastern European advantage to be able to leapfrog? It is, doesn't make sense. So anyway, go back. You can go back to the Wild. I just wanted to comment on that Loma fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was done
Yeah, go
basically. I
ahead.
mean, that's all I really wanted to say. It is a good fight, and hopefully Daniel Dubois will be in court, not getting his Don King money or some shit, so somebody can be the number one. I mean, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is gonna do next, but if that fight can get made, cool. In the meantime, in between time, and then if Wilder could be the number one, or even get a vacant WBC belt, then that'd be dope. But Fury said he doesn't plan to vacate, and Usyk says I don't want to fight nobody but Fury. And Fury's like, I need $500 million or something crazy. So it's all it's all over the place.
Yeah, the heavyweight division seemed to be like in a crazy space. I, I know this. And I've said it before, man. Joe Joyce is a player. A lot of people talk about him being slow, but I pointed something out to a guy before. What heavyweight is really fast? Including Usyk. Like,
None
who
of
is
them.
fast?
None
You
of
get what
them.
I'm
Andy
saying?
Ruiz got some fast
As a
hands.
heavyweight,
Andy
Yeah.
Ruiz
I
got
mean,
some
I ain't
fight
talking
hands.
about fast hands. I'm talking about fast because the thing is, and I believe Joe Joyce had knocked Andy Ruiz out because you could you
probably
can
fucked up.
only, in my opinion, you could only run for so many rounds as a 200-pound fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean, I'm saying Joe Joyce would have a shot with any of those guys because at some point in the fight, you're gonna have to fight. And I actually think, in my opinion, Joe Joyce is gonna be the heavyweight champion of the world when he gets the
Oh,
opportunity.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Julius,
mean,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a
Yes, sir.
question. What do you think about Joseph Parker?
I think Joseph Parker is a shot fighter right now.
yeah, dude.
I
I'm
I I,
no, I'm
I
talking
think
about in
his
his
best
prime.
days is ahead of him. I
I'm
mean,
saying in his
behind him.
prime. In his
In
prime,
his
what do you think
prime,
about Joseph
I
Parker?
thought that he
He
was
was
just
worse than he is now. He actually
yeah,
got
I
better.
thought he was just I always thought Joe Parker was an average fighter.
Yeah.
I really did.
Well, okay. Okay. The reason I ask you that is, listen, many people say Joe Joyce beat Joseph Parker, but the point is, they were in a competitive fight. And I'm just sorry. I'm trying to hit you on this, but I can't get that memory out of my mind. Joe Joyce going 12 rounds. Joseph Parker, him becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. It just seems so far fetched to me because of that. But I hear you because he does have a strong chin. But I can just see people outpointing him. I know you say they're not fast enough, but is Joe Joyce accurate enough, sharp enough to land enough punches on
Well,
somebody to
well,
beat
I
them?
gotta ask you, Cozy, when did Joe Joyce go 12 rounds with Joseph Parker?
Yeah, I don't recall them fighting.
I don't.
You,
Yeah,
Do
I
I
don't
think
do I
remember
you
them
have
getting
them?
fighting.
Joseph Parker. I think you got Joe Joyce
Who am I
mixed
getting
up
them
with
confused
somebody
with?
in a fight.
What, Chisora?
Okay, maybe it's
That was
nah.
Usyk.
Chisora just happened.
Chisora,
Not Chisora and Parker fought too.
No,
Joe
because Joe
Joe
Joyce
Joe
Joe
Joyce
Joyce
knocked
never
is
out
supposed
fought
to fight
Parker.
scheduled.
Joe Joyce knocked
They're
out
scheduled to
Daniel
fight
Cormier.
September 24th.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
take everything I said and throw it in the trash.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
just if I
They
just
haven't
made it
fought
up,
yet. They're
I just
about
made
to
it up.
fight.
I could have sworn he fought Joe Joyce. I mean, Parker. I might be on my mind. My bad.
Yeah,
No,
they
but it's
fight
scheduled. They're
September
gonna fight, and
24th.
and I think
Yeah,
JoJo's gonna get that ass up out of there.
but
yeah.
but see, I guess I view Joseph Parker different, a little different than you, Jules,
Okay,
because I think he's skilled. I just don't think he has that dog in him. I
okay.
actually
I can see
thought
that.
when he fought AJ, it should have been a draw at worst. Okay, I
Okay.
didn't see, you know what I mean. So and Dylan White, I thought he got robbed versus Dylan White. He was fouled versus Dylan White. And so many things went wrong in that Dylan White where they was on Dylan White's side, the ref, the judges, and everything.
Okay.
So I don't think he's a bad fighter. I just don't think he got that dog in him. I think, you know what I mean. He just
Hmm.
doesn't have that. When it down the stretch, you know what I mean. He doesn't have that extra gear. He doesn't have that meanness in him. When it comes to Joe Joyce, yeah, he's another slow bot.
Hmm.
Slow and robotic. I call him a slow bot,
Yep.
but he takes a lot of punches. This is what people
Mhm.
fail. Stavern, when Stavern fought Joe Joyce, he was landing everything. He just didn't
Yeah.
have any. He was so fat and bloated and out of shape, he couldn't even hold his own self up. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But
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 he
you
would.
know, as a heavyweight, I'm just speaking as a heavyweight. A lot of times, two things with heavyweights. They can win up until they 39, 40 years old. They can fight. Like a heavyweight is very rarely out of their prime. Like, you know what I'm saying? They can last longer than smaller fighters. And also, most real heavyweight fights is going to end in a knockout. So in order to beat Joe Joyce, you could definitely beat him by a 12 round decision, but most people are going to have to knock him out because they're not going to be able to take his power. He's not George Foreman, but he's like a poor man George Foreman, another real slow guy. It take all day for the punches to get there,
The only
but when they
person that
land, they do damage.
the only person that went the distance with JoJo is actually the same dude who only with 20 amateur fights went the distance with Klitschko, and that's Brian Jennings.
Brian Jennings, yeah, Mr. Jennings out of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Well,
So, but I mean, hey, Joseph, I'm not gonna lie, Joseph Parker, like I said, he's like one of the only washed fighters in their early 30s that I've ever seen. Like he's incredibly washed, but he did show some improvements in that second Chisora fight because the first Chisora fight he looked terrible. I was like, oh my god, Chisora's actually doing some good damage. But no, he's shown some improvements. He's
In the
shown some punch
amateurs
diversity and some
Midwest,
speed. Usyk KO George before just well, come on now.
in
Yeah,
the amateurs, and
stop it.
look, and I feel you on that Midwest, but you know, a guy KO Deontay Wilder in the amateurs, but a lot of times it take heavyweights longer to develop, and that ain't no knock against a guy. It's just the truth. You know, it take heavyweights, bigger guys, longer to develop. You know what
And
I'm
let's
saying?
be real, man. This is one thing I do know. I've seen Usyk fight what 3 times at heavyweight right now,
He ain't
or
got no
four
power.
maybe. He had no power, man. Yeah, he can't punch through a paper bag at heavyweight, man. Anthony Joshua was getting clipped with clean punches, gassed, exhausted, tired in his mind, already mentally defeated, and didn't even go down, man. He
Yeah,
ain't stopping Joe Joyce. Let's be real, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Andy Ruiz broke
Anthony
Anthony
also didn't knock
Joshua.
down Usyk two times.
broke him.
They fought twice. Net didn't knock that guy down either. Just saying.
Yeah,
All
there you
right,
go.
yeah, yeah, and Joe, and
Right.
not to mention we saw the work that Chisora was putting in on Usyk. I think Joe Joyce would like it would honestly it would surprise Usyk how much power and when he actually does land. It would be shocking, like because I know he felt AJ's power, he survived that, but when he gets on when Joe Joyce just starts jumping on him and clobbering him and throwing little up those uppercuts on the inside, Usyk
Yep.
gonna be like, oh god damn, this is actually this is different.
Facts.
Yep. So you want to jump in there, Steph? Okay. Steph must win
But
stepped away.
I think Andy Ruiz. I think some of y'all saying that Joe Joyce will beat Andy Ruiz. No, I think Andy Ruiz absolutely beats Joe Joyce. I think his hands are quick. You know what I mean? If he fights the way he fought AJ the first style, that Mike Tyson peekaboo in and out, pop, 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 rapid, got out of the way, he can beat Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is just so slow. I just don't see him beating Andy Ruiz. I think Andy Ruiz's skills are underrated. I really like Andy Ruiz when he's on and he's a focus. I think the last fight, he showed some ring rust, whatever the case may be. But I
You think ring rust, or did he show that maybe he's
He
not
showed
a
Cheeto
not a
dust. That's what he
yeah
no,
showed.
well,
Not
well,
ring
he
rust.
lost.
yeah
Well,
yeah
he lost a lot of weight. He lost a lot of weight, and he was with the with
Reynoso.
Canelo's camp, right? Where
Yeah.
he was with
yeah.
Reynoso. So
He
therefore,
ain't look good in a while though. Check,
well,
Yeah,
we
he
only
over there
had two
getting dropped by
fights
old ass
since
but
Areola. I
Jay,
but
don't
but
know.
but the
Areola.
Anthony Joshua, right?
Uh-huh.
The second Anthony Joshua fight, he looked like
Well,
trash.
we know why he looked like trash at that time.
Okay, gotcha.
He didn't train.
You're right.
His
And then
trainer,
the
own
area
trainer, said he wouldn't train.
right, and then the Areola fight, he looked more looked like what would be the comment for look like bigger trash?
Basura.
Yes, there you go.
Basura.
Or how about this one? Doo doo.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
But
He
guess
looked
what?
like
He had the
doo-doo.
new train. But guess what? Guess who he left though? He's no longer with Reynoso.
Okay.
No. So he left Reynoso. So hopefully he can get back to showing his display because again, Reynoso added nothing to him
So what
unless he
you
gave
see
him some
about the
special. He
fight
didn't give him the
next
special
Sunday?
T.
Who you see
Uh,
winning next Sunday?
Ruiz,
Okay.
without
All
a
right.
doubt.
How? Knockout, decision, what?
Somebody going to
He could knock him out or a decision. It depends. He could knock him out or a decision. Ruiz is not a
All right.
one punch knockout guy. He's an accumulation
Right.
guy, but he's very strong and he's very steady. He has a low center of gravity, so you know what I mean. He's very healthy when it comes to that. So he can take a punch and he can give a punch. And I think at this point, um, I think what's his name? Who's fighting again?
Luis Ortiz.
Ortiz, yeah, yeah. So I think at this point, Ortiz is kind of he's 40. I'm just that he's 40. So father
49.
time.
49.
Okay, so father time. I think is I think he's Andy Ruiz is going to win that. So he's
All
by
right.
knockout decision. I'm not going to pick how, but he's
All
going
right.
to win.
Cozy, who you got in that fight?
That's a hard fight to pick. I'm gonna be honest with you. Man, I probably lean towards Andrew Ruiz, like 51-49, 52-48. I gotta see how he comes in terms of conditioning, because no disrespect, but he's giving me no reason to trust him as far as that. And then Ortiz is older. With Charles Martin, it took him a little bit of time to get going. You know what I mean? Charles Martin was looking good, and then Ortiz just changed the fight with one punch. You know what? I'm going to go with Ortiz, man. I'm going to say Ortiz catches him with something, because I done seen Andy Ruiz get clipped before a couple times.
Can I take
I'm
your
going
money,
to just say
Cozy?
Ortiz
Can I take
slightly.
your money?
No. Listen. This is no, like, big, you know what I'm saying? I'm not putting no stake in it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I'm going to just go for the underdog this time and say Ortiz pull it out, you know what I'm saying?
Who you got, D-Hive?
Excuse me one sec, though. Actually,
Go ahead, Steph.
Julius, I'm gonna actually split. I'm getting too many phone calls here right now, but thank you for having me on the
Okay.
show, sir.
Hey,
Cozy,
anytime, brother.
D-Hive.
Look, tomorrow, I'm probably gonna be going at it again tomorrow, man. So, and if you got any spaces going on tomorrow, hit me up and let me know. I'll join your space, and probably tomorrow night we're gonna be talking again.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Are you gonna be doing like
Teal Choco?
what was that?
I said, take it easy, Teal Choco, Uncle Choco.
Ah! Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, what were you saying though, Steph?
I was gonna say, are you gonna do like a what do you call them? Like a fight? What do you like a live fight, little hype?
I don't know, man, because
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna tell you something real quick, man. I'm hoping that Top Rank. I sent out a tweet today, and I was begging for Bob Arum to stop recycling
damn.
Comey and Pedraza. Like, let them bottles go away. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely we're gonna talk. Maybe I might do that. I don't know, man. I might do that.
Okay. All right then. Well, you gentlemen have a good start to the weekend.
All right, you take care, brother.
All right, take it easy,
I'm
Steph.
gonna be around.
All right, man.
Bye.
All
I
right,
mean,
go ahead, man.
like I said,
D Hub.
what are the leftovers supposed to do except scrap each other? But what I was going to say, the reality is Andrew Ruiz should win. This is Andrew Ruiz's fight to lose. I think Andy gonna get well. I don't know, but I'm picking Andy to stop King Kong. But I would prefer if King Kong win, just so Wilder's win looks better and AJ looks like even more trash. But um, but yeah, no, I'm picking Andrew Ruiz by stoppage.
All right, and also Midwest said who's training Andy Ruiz now.
Oh shit, I don't even know. To be honest.
I mean, he changed trainers, man, like he changed socks.
It's
I
not
don't know.
Manny Robles.
He back
Uh,
with Manny?
I haven't seen Manny
Or he
Rose
left
in
him
any
too.
recent footage.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had
he
left
left.
him first,
Yeah,
but
he
I don't
left
know.
Manny when he
I
was
think
at
he
the
might
top
be
of the
with
world.
I think he might be with Goosen right now. Let me check real quick.
Okay, Joe Goosen. All right, that's cool.
Oh
I like
yeah,
Joe.
yeah. No, I think
Let
he's
me,
right.
Joe Goosen. All right, that's cool. Um, why he ain't with you know what I'm saying, Bread Man?
Oh my god.
look. He
What
might as well
about
go play with
Bread,
Bomac.
jump in there,
what about
Bread.
Mark
Let's
Breland?
go.
What about Mark
Right.
Breland?
Go to
Unemployed.
Bomac.
Hey, Mark Breland would be
Shoot.
all right, but Bomac, oh my
Go to
god,
Bomac.
Bomac.
no,
Listen,
he wanted. Hey, he should step out of that one. No,
Bomac needs Christ and
Bomac
Jamal
equals
Herring alone.
JD's. Well, he's a little
oh
better.
yeah, no question,
Well,
no
JD
question.
is not a trainer. He's just the one that owned the gym and
They
keep
in
the
the
lights
same
on.
boat. They in the same
Well,
boat there.
I got some vids of JD's on the mitts with Wilder. It was just like I was so embarrassed. You know, you ever feel cringe and embarrassed, like, oh my god, I can't believe they actually showing this. It was before the Fury fight. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, but Ruiz, a lot. Remember, you see, all of these fighters have left the Canelo camp.
Yeah,
So what are they actually offering besides the tea and the little extra, trinkets that come in that meat?
said the T
You
and
know, the tea and the extra meat, the
yeah.
extra strong meat. So I don't know.
Pause.
I think he was overrated. I think he was a overrated trainer anyway. So like I said, I have faith in Andy Ruiz that I guess others don't. In fact,
Mhm.
you probably think this blasphemous, but I think Andy Ruiz would beat Usyk. That's just my take on it.
I mean,
That's
that
not
would be
out
a
of the realm
competitive
of
fight, but man, that last fight with Andy Ruiz, it's
possibility.
kind of mind-boggling. Um, where
Yeah,
you get
man.
that confidence in Andy Ruiz because a lot of times, and it's unfortunate, but this is boxing. You know, the last time we saw you, I mean, that's in our minds. And I mean, Chris Arreola almost knocked him out.
He had him twerking on
Right.
them ropes not once but twice.
And that's
Yeah,
Chris Areola.
That's
Like,
yeah.
come
wild.
on,
The
man.
old
Yeah.
Chris
So
Arreola, not the
I,
Chris Arreola from 8 years ago.
Okay,
I,
but remember, he shed so much weight. He was half the size that he normally fighted, and under the new training, trying to pick up new things, and I just think with that, it's the game plan was discombobulated. I think he was zapped of his strength because he got down, too low of a weight, and I just have faith in him. This fight, we'll see, and if he show improve, then my faith proved correctly. If
Well,
not,
and,
okay.
hey, and all, and also too, check. I'm gonna tell you something, man. A lot of times when guys have trouble with their weight, it's just like with Buster Douglas. He had, he used to blow up to 300 some pounds, and he put it all together one night against Mike Tyson, and then he never put it together. He was like Humpty Dumpty. He fell off the rest of his career, and Holyfield almost killed him. Same thing with Andy Ruiz. He put it together that one night against AJ in a fight. He came back mentally tough. But then ever since then, even if he only fought one time, he just ain't looked the same in life. You know what I'm saying? Gaining weight, not training. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he gonna get a good payday Saturday night. I just think, I'm with y'all. He's supposed to win, and Ortiz looked bad, but I just got a funny feeling unless the 50-year-old legs of Ortiz is gone, he gonna knock Andy Ruiz out.
Damn.
And Midwest said, I don't care who you're training it with. Areola is not supposed to be knocking you down if you're a top fighter.
Thank you.
He talking about the Areola of now. But go ahead.
But in that case, Ruiz was supposed to be knocking AJ around the ring, knocked him down 4 times as well.
I agree.
So
but look at AJ.
It's and then you got to understand,
Mentally
millions of dollars. Mentally weak, and you guys know I won a lot of money off that fight because I picked Ruiz to beat him. So right. I definitely won a couple of grand off that fight.
Oh, congratulations! I like to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I pick a lot of fights that people don't expect, and then that's just what I do. I look because I don't go with the popular opinion. You know what I mean? I'm anti-groupthink. I like to look and see and look at the science and see what they bring to the table.
I got you.
Each style.
You kind of think like Boo Boo Andre.
I don't understand that one. Explain that one.
You think outside the box and stuff.
He's talking about just being the contrarian.
No, his box is a whole nother level. This dude just, I can't believe he ducking Jana back. That's a whole nother story.
By the way, really quickly,
that's disappointing to me.
Andy Ruiz's trainer is a guy named Alfredo Pollo Osuna. Who?
Never heard of him.
Apparently, he's been in the camps of different former world champions, such as Orlando Salido, Antonio DeMarco, Fernando Carcamo.
Oh, he from Mexico then.
Marquez. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now, Antonio DeMarco, I mean, he was an average fight. I mean, he just was tough.
I was going to say, Adrian Broner put a whooping on him.
The best Adrian Broner ever looked in his career, matter of fact.
Man,
this is good news. I'm over here picking Andy Ruiz in public.
Yeah, I ain't picking Andy, man. Andy is, and look, I got to give it to Top Rank. When Top Rank had Andy Ruiz, they did all they could do with Andy Ruiz, but Andy Ruiz, you know what I'm saying? He had a few struggles and with the weight, and I think that bothered. I mean, that's a concern, man. Whenever a fighter has a weight issue and they at a weight class where they don't have to make weight, you need to be concerned, man. But other than that, I mean, I'm just thinking like Areola still knocked you down and was beating you up. Like, that's concerning. And Areola ain't no full-time fighter no more.
And I get that.
And it was one of the
heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I get that it's heavyweight boxing, but look what Rockman did to Lennox, and look at what happened in rematch. Things happen. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Let me say something about Rockman. You are absolutely right. Lennox Lewis probably shouldn't have had no business getting knocked out by Rockman, but Rockman was a better fighter than Andy Ruiz. He wasn't no chopped liver, is what I'm saying. Checkmate. All right. Well, look, I'm gonna give everyone a minute to say their last thoughts, man, and we're gonna end it tonight and to come back tomorrow. So I'm gonna start with you, D-Hive. Go ahead, man. Say your last remarks here.
Okay. I think. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
No problem, brother.
I think it's great that Devin Haney is giving the finger to those trash dudes over at Ring Magazine. Nobody really likes y'all. Y'all don't sanction any fight. None of your rankings actually matter. I don't know why you have this much relevance, but whatever. Dougie Fisher, get a real job in journalism. And I don't even know who's fighting this weekend. Is it Coleman Pedraza? Is that this weekend?
Yes, please. Stop
Oh,
recycling them guys.
I don't know. I mean, Comey is tough. Pedraza at this point. I thought Pedraza looked pretty good against Ramirez. So I don't know. Maybe I guess I'll pick Pedraza. You know, he's the one that shows a little bit more skill between the two of them. But we'll see. Not like it matters.
Mhm.
But but no. And
Right.
then the other big fights. The only other big fights
Oh,
we got
Big
coming up.
Baby fighting too now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not yet sold on him. I don't know who his opponent is, but we got to see a little bit more. And heading into September, only fights we really got big fights is like well Shakur versus Conceição gonna be good coming up, and then we got Canelo versus Triple G in September. So, but yeah,
Right.
no, no, that's it. I'm pretty much done.
All right. Cozy, what's up, man? Checkmate must have fell out. That's fine. I give you the last word, man.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me yet again, Julius.
Oh, anytime,
Um,
brother.
yes, sir. Like you said earlier, we have to take back and control the narrative of our sport, or
Mm-hmm.
else other people will take and control the narrative, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
twist into their own ways. So we gotta always be mindful of that. Obviously, with anybody who is even what's the guy's name, Montero or something like that, Montero.
Yes.
Him,
Michael
yeah,
Montero.
Michael Montero, especially with these
Mhm.
people. So there's that one. Again, we've been talking about Wilder for weeks now, but honestly, my message will stay the same. We got to see it in the ring. We got to see what Wilder has left in the ring. Hopefully, he has a lot left because I think Wilder is a talent that has gone unappreciated, and all he needs is that one big win to secure his legacy. So there's that. Andy Ruiz, another one. Listen, like D Hop said earlier, Andy should win this fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't win this fight. So that'll be an interesting one going forward. And Devin Haney, don't take the disrespect from the ring. You're young. You got plenty of great fights ahead of you. You don't need the validity, or accreditation by any stretch of the imagination, bro. Go ahead and solidify yourself. Get rid of the ring and do your own thing, man. So that's my final words.
Definitely. And also let me Midwest and all the guys in Ronnie Bravo and them that was in the chat. Hey, I appreciate the support, man. Thank y'all. And thank you, D Hive, Cozy, um, Steph, Checkmate. Man, I appreciate y'all every time you come on, man. And if you don't come on, I'm still, what I'm saying, appreciate you. Shakur, Concepcion, horrible fight. Yeah, I think Shakur is gonna beat up on him, and what's gonna make it horrible is Concepcion is not gonna have enough to stop Shakur because that's what he's gonna need. Yeah. So let me say this, man, and to the Michael Monteros, to the Maxes, and all these guys, man. Look, y'all soldiers, man. I don't have no problem with y'all soldiers talking to soldiers. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the real fans of boxing, we have to do away with these people, man. Um, just for fairness and also because that hate talk, man, is just not where it's at. Point blank, it's not where it's at. It don't deserve no play in this world. Not just boxing world, the world. And also, as far as the boxing thing, man, hold on, let me let Checkmate get his last word in. Hey, Checkmate, we about to we
Yeah,
about
I
to
didn't hear.
sign out, but I want you to give your last word, brother, of what you got to say. You go ahead, man. I can finish up mines after you. Go ahead.
Okay, before I go, you were saying you were actually talking when I started to talk, respond when I got disconnected. My whole
Okay,
laptop went
okay,
flat. What were
go
you
ahead.
saying?
I
Yeah,
don't remember
you
what I was saying when you got cut off. I think I was saying asking you a question, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But I'm gonna give you the last word, man.
okay.
To say what you need, get it off your chest, and we could probably talk again tomorrow or what have you. Let us know whatever on your heart or your mind.
Well, to me the biggest thing is this Ring magazine. It needs to be boycotted. Some heads need to roll. I think there needs to be solidarity among boxers, especially Black American boxers. But I would hope that other boxers who see the injustice, you know, come lo- tap in as well and drop their ring belts and stop giving that the significance. So, um, it's time that PBC comes up with their own magazine, their own rankings, their own little special trinket belt, whatever the case may be, and stop giving these races, these culture vultures, the opportunity to to put your place in history based on their standing.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And like I had said earlier when I was doing my last word, man, there's no place in society for them soldiers, man. And a lot of times, boxing, because of the type of trolls and because of the type of coonery and foolery that we got going on in not just the Twitter world, but just in the world, it gives these guys a platform to be able to spew this hatred and this foolishness, man. And until we can, like I say, we got to do some cleaning up of our own to make sure that these guys don't have a platform, because a lot of these, like I say, these black soldiers are giving these guys like Montero, what I'm saying, room to roam the world or roam the Twitter space and the Facebooks and everything and spew this kind of nonsense. But yeah, man. Look, again, thank y'all for coming on, man. Um,
And one more
you know,
thing, real
yeah,
quick.
go ahead. Shoot. Go ahead.
Y'all black soldiers got to stop letting the price of admission to the damn barbecue be someone endorsing Terrence Crawford. All right, that shit gets on my nerves. Okay, stop it. Stop it. We see you and you look stupid. Cause Montero and Steve Kim and those bitch dudes will say everything horrible about black people, but then say, "Oh yeah, but Spence Duck and Crawford and everything be good." Man, damn that, y'all are sorry.
Hmm. And let's be honest, again, I continue to hear people saying that one is ducking the other, but I do know that both guys are in a training camp. Now that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that they're fighting one another, but I do believe that you get in a training camp to fight someone. So hopefully we'll figure out who these guys are fighting, and we'll get an announcement future, in what I'm saying, the close future, near future, because I know Checkmate gonna come out with a video about it, what I'm saying, if it don't come out. So and he gonna have somebody with ducks everywhere. I know Check gonna bring it.
Well,
But
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm disappointed in Crawford though, because this is the
Mhm.
fight he wanted. Devin Haney took less money to go over and get those belts to set out and what he's going to do.
Absolutely he did.
If Crawford, he either way, he's going to make more money than he's ever made ever. Okay. If the fight does what I think is going to do, again, he's going to make well over 20-30 million for this fight. But so their guarantee is not what he want, but the guarantee is probably what he was making at Top Rank when he did not build a base. He didn't build a pay-per-view following or business. Earl Spence has the three belts. This is not a 50-50. And what Bomac said, well, we got what Spence won't. We know what he want. You trying to hold it hostage. Now you didn't have that same vigor to stop. Why didn't you take that passion and when Bob, Bob and the Bob Mafia was giving you those shitty deals? Why didn't you have? Why are you saving this when you have no promoter? Finally getting, because if he burns his PBC bridge, you think that PBC going to throw him any more fights? So where is going to go? Eddie say he don't want him. He's suing Bob. Bob don't want him. So where would he go? Bud literally has no leverage. And I just want the fight to happen. I want him to get paid. Earl Spence is not the one that's paying the purse. So stop. You know what I mean? He can't. It's not about Earl at this point. It's about what Showtime is willing to pay. And if they crunch their numbers, listen, he got to take that. It's not like he's taking a loss. He's going to make millions more than he's ever made ever. I just need to see this fight.
I agree, man. I definitely agree. I want to see it. Ain't no doubt about it. I want to see it. And I'm gonna watch it as a fan. You know what I'm saying? If it happens, and I'm not gonna be mad at neither one that win or lose. I got who I think gonna win, but that's far as it go. I like that. I want to see both brothers, come
Right.
out of it healthy. But rest assured, I want to see these young brothers fight one another. I'm not one of those in the fan base that don't like to see two black Americans fighting against each other, or two Mexicans fighting against each other. No, I want to see it. I want to see two fighters in their prime fight each other. Again, we're gonna have to have a show about guys that are, you know what I'm saying, about this generation of waiting to guys are in their 30s before they fight each other. Let's fight these guys in their primes, man. That's that legacy. And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna go. We could talk about this for hours, but it's this misconception that you want to make all the money right now. But y'all do know that Sugar Ray Leonard still makes a lot of money, right? He ain't fought in what 25 years, but or longer, 30
More than
years,
that.
30 years, but he still makes money. Thomas Hearns, another guy, ain't fought in 30 years, but those guys still make money, man, because they are legendary fighters. And you make money off, they're making the money off of those legendary fights that they had, man. You could only make legendary fights when you're in your prime. And that's just all there is to it, man. And that's why a lot of these guys are not trying to get in the ring with a young Boots or any of them because, man, they already see. And I'm going to use Keith Thurman for example. I'm not saying that Keith Thurman can't have you know what I'm saying, a moment where he knocked in us out or whatever. But a lot of times these guys don't want to take these fights because they're not hungry no more. And you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I could go on and on, man. I just want to see guys fight in their prime. But I'm gonna let everybody go, man. Thank
All right, my
everybody.
brother.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? And keep supporting me. Also, if you're listening to us, you know, uh, hit that like button and subscribe, man. And y'all take care. All right.
What last thing, Julie? Did you see
Go ahead,
Isaiah
Chip.
Likely? That's all I want to say. Did
Did
you
I see
see
what?
Isaiah Likely?
Yes, I
Isaiah Likely
did.
for the Ravens.
Yes,
He
I did,
compared.
Boy,
brother.
we got one. 100 yards in the first half of the
Yeah,
preseason game. We got
I
a
saw
rookie,
that,
brother.
man. I saw that, and they play again tomorrow too. But
Yes, we played Washington. Yep.
all right, man. Y'all take care,
All right,
brother.
fellas.
All right now.